A former Russian deputy defense minister is facing corruption charges involving the alleged theft of more than $30 million.
It was a spectacular fall from grace. Timur Ivanov was Russia's deputy defense minister for 6 years, a Kremlin insider with particular importance after the invasion of Ukraine. But in April this year, he was arrested, accused of taking bribes in connection with the construction of defense ministry buildings. Now he's been charged with embezzling vast sums of money from a bank. Mr. Ivanov was a close ally of the defense minister Sergei Shoigu, who was sacked shortly after Mr. Ivanov's arrest. Some suggest this is all about infighting among political factions rather than crime and punishment.
The BBC's Paul Moss. A Russian court has sentenced a 72-year-old American to almost 7 years in prison for allegedly fighting as a mercenary in Ukraine. News and analysis at townhall.com. Belt tightening at Dutch airline KLM, although we don't know if it will involve any job cuts.
The measures aim to boost the carrier's finances as it continues to recover from the COVID pandemic that grounded planes worldwide. KLM CEO says along with many other airlines, KLM, quote, is suffering from high costs and shortages of staff and equipment. The carrier says the package of measures is intended to improve its operating result by $497 million in the short term.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Democratic Congressman Andy Kim and Republican Curtis Mashaw have met in their first debate for New Jersey's Senate seat. The spot is open this year after Bob Menendez's conviction on bribery charges and his resignation. Kim, a three-term representative from the 3rd District, Mashaw, a hotel developer from southern New Jersey and first-time political candidate. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy post-fair week, post a lot of stuff. Happy Monday. But
dude, I've never looked more forward to a Monday in my entire life.
But a quieter, calmer, gentler Monday, maybe?
So quieter
after
Monday.
After last week?
There isn't, like, even yesterday I was kind of driving around last night.
Yeah.
There's an air over the town of just like,
it was a great week.
Oh, it was fantastic. Yeah, it was great. Great to see. It's funny when you go to the fair, you end up seeing people that you have not literally seen all year except for last year at the fair.
Yeah.
You just pop up and they're like, oh, okay, it's my annual visit with so-and-so.
I always walk by this booth and I always see you.
That's right.
But, yeah, it was another fun week and big successful week. Heard nothing but good reports from everybody and from every phase. So, good job to Airborne and everybody. Pulled off another amazing fair week.
Absolutely. Yes, it was a big success, and couldn't have done it without some fantastic volunteers. So big thanks to everybody who made it work.
Oh yeah, from our end and everybody. Yeah, it's a lot of people doing a lot of things make things happen. So it was hopefully everyone got a chance to go out there and have some fun and ride some rides. And
I was impressed Saturday night that the crowd was still, I mean, it's the last night. People are kind of fared out by the end of the week, but we still had a pretty good crowd out there.
There's a lot going on out there with
Saturday
the Ranch
night.
Rodeo and the concerts. And, of course, rides were going late. So, yeah, I mean, why not? One last hoorah. The weather was good.
I said it so many times on Saturday. Let me see if I remember. Los Consentidos de Ciudad Juárez.
Pretty good. Yeah, that's probably one of the things that's like the toughest part of our job. Sometimes we'll get things to make commercials, and I'm like, you realize I'm not Spanish. I cannot say that in any way that's going to sound anything but some dumb white dude said that.
No, but what's funny is, and you don't notice it until maybe you go back home and like play your commercial for somebody back home, because I didn't notice it until somebody pointed it out to me, is how you will seamlessly slip into a Mexican accent when saying Mexican words. Like, I'll be like, now's your chance to get your hands on the pueblo and the party tostadas. Like you slip into that, like that world of, I have to roll my through my R's. And
it's Cynthia Izaguirre.
Izaguirre, yes.
Yeah. All over again.
Who's that Cynthia Izaguirre girl? No, Izaguirre. Come on, put a little trill in there.
Yeah.
But when you go back home, people are like, what are you doing with that weird words like Rieno? Tostada.
My problem is that because I grew up in D.C. and I still do it, even though in my head it sounds more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're thinking you're doing it, but then what's actually coming out, then you hear it later, it's like, whoa, I do sound like
Just for fun, next time, because you're going home for the holidays.
I am.
Try to see if you can find a Mexican restaurant. And take your family out to a Mexican restaurant in that area.
Yeah.
And see if you don't find yourself slipping into it when you're ordering.
Well, and here's the thing. Mexican restaurants. I mean, granted, it's D.C., so you're actually, compared to other cities,
you got some choice.
Pretty good.
Right.
But when it comes to Mexican food, to what you're used to here in New Mexico, nothing like that.
Right.
I mean, it's well, that's just true everywhere. However, I do, and I think I've said this on the radio before. This was years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. Matter of fact, it was my brother lived in a different part of Virginia. There was a Mexican restaurant, but it was New Mexican. I think the owners originally were from here in New Mexico.
Wow.
And he took me there, and it was legit New Mexican.
That's awesome.
Everything we do here, that's what they did. And I was like, this is it. This is, I mean, granted, they are a little farther, so, green chilies, but it was good. You know what I mean? It wasn't like,
but it wasn't like, so for example, when I went back to Oklahoma, we went to this place called Abuelitas. It's like my parents' or my mom's favorite Mexican restaurant. So I ordered a green chili enchilada. So I figured, cheese and all that with the green chilies on top or sauce or whatever. Nope. It was a green chili strip inside of a tortilla with some cheese. I was like, this is not right at all.
To be honest, green chili is at least heard of now. Like 10 years, 15 years ago, you never saw green chili really outside of New Mexico. It's just, now it's kind of, because of the world we live in and everyone likes to, do things.
When Clay Foley came through town, we were the first. He's never had green chili before he came here. We
and he had to have it different because usually most people, I would argue, people that are not from here, when they have green chili for the first time, 90% of the time it's on a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Obviously Clay being a vegan, not a big cheeseburger eater.
They made him a chili relleno platter.
Yeah, and then carrot tacos, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing if you're a vegan, that's probably delightful. In my head, I'm like, I'm sorry, man.
You start. One of the things when you're eating alternative foods, like when you're trying to like create a sensation, you start looking for textures and things.
Yeah.
Like I legit before I was keto didn't know you could take ground chicken, like canned chicken, and with some magic, an egg and some magic, you can make a pizza crust out of it.
Okay.
And it's a pretty legit pizza crust too. Like
nice.
It's actually holds up and is good.
The concept of making a crust out of meat sounds delightful to me.
It's pretty bomb because I made a barbecue chicken pizza on a chicken crust. It was pretty bomb. Yeah.
Yep.
But you start looking for things. You're like, okay, so
you could get the Colonel out there. We got the crustiest chicken. You can
you like notice that like beet, for example, when soaked, beet has a certain consistency that's in line with like maybe ham.
Yeah.
So jackfruit is a big one. Like when when you see like vegan pulled pork, it's almost always jackfruit.
Okay.
Because if you ever have had like straight jackfruit, it's a savory. It's not sweet.
Have you eaten some of these?
I've definitely had the jackfruit pulled pork.
Like if no one told you and just said this is pulled pork, would you have thought it was pulled pork?
To a point. It tastes. It's pretty spot on. You know, smokiness with the barbecue and all that.
Yeah.
Barbecue sauce, but the only thing that threw me off was it's stringier.
Yeah.
So it breaks down more like a turnip or like a very thick squash than it does like strands of barbecue.
I got to be honest.
Pork.
To get me to be down with this, you literally got to A-team Mr. Teamy on it. And what I mean by that is you just got to give it to me and don't tell me anything about it. And I'm like, that was good. And I'd be like, yeah, that was dragon fruit or whatever. And I'm like, okay.
I still want to, and I know that we're not in the right time of day to do it, but I still want to do a side-by-side blind Whopper, Impossible Whopper taste test.
All right.
Because I want to see if I can tell the difference. I've had an Impossible Whopper. I actually I will order more often the Impossible than the regular.
Really?
It's just sort of like I don't know, a nicer experience.
The Impossible Whopper. Mm-hmm. However, when I was...
Thought I turned that off. I'm sorry.
When I was... First I was like, his stomach? What was that?
Yeah, that's my tummy.
But when we went to the Grand Canyon several years ago, there was a food truck that was near the hotel, and they had hot dogs, but the only burgers they had were Impossible Burgers. So I tried an Impossible Burger from that truck, and I ain't gonna lie, I was delighted with that burger. If you would have not told me, and I just ate it, I probably would have been like, yeah, it was a good burger. I fooled you, it's not me.
Right. They do a really good job with Impossible.
Yeah. So I could see maybe. I mean, I've never had the Burger King one. But
here's the thing. If you're going there like, ooh, this is a healthier option. No.
Yeah, I'm about to say, they put so much...
The South Park episode about that was phenomenal, where they're like, this is just as bad for you as this is, but this is a plant-based option. Yeah. It is technically plant-based.
Yeah, I don't think it's better for your cholesterol or all the things that a burger technically...
Soybean is plant-based, and soybeans ain't great for you, for the record. Speaking of South Park, did you happen to...
not yet. I want to. I have not yet done it.
I want to talk about it because there's so much cool stuff that happens in there, and it's given me such a want to go back to Denver to go to Casa Bonita because it just looks the changes that they made are so amazing.
I gotta admit, if I ever go a chance to go back to Denver, that's on the list of things to do. Like, no, we're gonna go Casa Bonita and watch cliff diving and eat enchilada buffet or whatever they do there.
One of the things, and this isn't really a spoiler because this happens pretty early on, before anything else happens. Before like they start renovating, before they even get hit with the costs, the first thing that they address is everybody's like, well, the food is terrible. The food's always awful. So they track down this, she's a Mexican chef, and her name is Loca. That's like been her nickname since the 70s, where some famous chef said, you're not just crazy, you're Loca. Or you're loco. And she said, hey, it's Loca.
Female. Feminine.
She was like on from the very ground level, like to talk about, well, this is what I'm going to need in my kitchen. This is what it needs. So it sounds to me like they have upped their food game exponentially.
Good.
I'm guessing that comes at a cost, but
well, I do, and I have nothing to compare it to.
Right.
So,
I do.
Yeah. I never had it. Never been there.
See, I've never had Casa Bonitas, but what I had was something very comparable.
Yeah.
But it wasn't quite the same experience. What I had was Ponchos.
Yeah, I've heard the Ponchos. I've never had it myself.
Anybody who's ever been to a Ponchos, when you say Ponchos, they're like, oh, because it's such. I mean, it was bad Mexican food, but as much of it as you want,
right?
And then you just raise the flag whenever you want anything else.
It's scratching it.
Yeah,
like an all-subs burrito.
Exactly.
It's scratching.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
You know what it was, and I'll give you an exact 1-to-1 comparison.
Yeah.
The enchiladas at Ponchos are almost spot on, exactly the same as the patio TV dinner enchiladas. And you laugh, but I love those. That was like my favorite.
I'm trying to think if I've had them. I've seen them. I don't know if I've actually sat down and ate one.
Well, have you ever had like TV dinner enchiladas?
Which I'm trying to think. Like I've had like the Stouffer's ones, but I don't
literally
think those
had those over the weekend.
Yeah, I've had the Stouffer ones, but I don't think I've had the patio ones.
Yeah, this is a different brand now. I think it's like it's a yellow box at Farmers, but yeah, it's cheese with beef flavoring.
Something ole.
Something like that, yeah. But yeah, it's spot on the same exact experience because, the edges of the tortillas are kind of like crispy, like it was thrown in a microwave real quick and popped out.
Yeah. But
it's food.
Yeah, it's all about what you've been eating, I guess you raised different, and that's, hot garbage. But, if that was part of your, it's everyone's got their proclivity. Right. Everyone's got their guilty pleasure or food that everyone knows is not good, but you can't help it because I can't stop loving you. And
you know what I did this weekend? I pulled a full-blown, bachelor move.
Yeah.
I went back to Farmers and I actually bought the Stouffer's chipped beef and gravy.
Good
the
for you,
SOS. Because on the box it shows the 2 pieces of bread.
Uh-huh.
Here's a secret. It doesn't come with the bread.
No, bread not included.
It's just the gravy and the meat. So you can use your own bread.
Sure.
You can use fresh bread. You can use whatever kind of bread you have. Uh-huh. And I did. And it was delightful.
You could eat it straight out of the box for a quick pick-me-up.
Just straight out of the container. Who needs bread? I'm going carb-free.
It's kind of like a beefsicle. A creamy beefsicle.
Secret dish, you let it thaw out just enough that you can get a stick in there.
Yeah.
Then you refreeze it.
All right, let me give you the rundown. We're going to replay some interviews here today. And, trust me, I have not said anything. But, yes, I am super excited about NFL football. My team is awesome, and I am a happy man. But
I'm surprised you've held your tongue this long.
Maybe next hour.
Okay.
My team's better than your team, and I'm about ready to just flat out say it at this point. After seeing them today, that was a complete team win. They were amazing. Like Jaden Daniels was good. He was not great. The Browns defense is legit. The Browns offense is god awful.
Yeah?
I'm pretty sure the Coyotes could shut them down. I'm telling you, that offense on the Browns, they couldn't get out of their own way. Watson is done. He's washed up. That team is just. Their defense is really good. Their offense is really, really, really bad. And they made, now, don't get me wrong, Commanders' defense is a lot better. And they looked like studs yesterday. But I'm also aware they were playing against a really, really, if they scored 20 some points on this team, I would have been nervous. But they held them to 6, so I'm happy.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, I don't want to get into it. Because I got lots to say.
But good news, it sounds like.
Oh, I'm so happy. I haven't been this happy watching my football team since Mark Rippon was quarterback, and we were making a Super Bowl run.
Okay.
Joe Gibbs was it. This is a different team. This is all different.
How excited did you get for your team this weekend?
Very.
Did you get so excited on a play that maybe you headbutted a wall or something?
No.
You have a scar right there on your head.
I don't know. I have to check
I was making sure you didn't get bonked. No, it's a little over.
Yeah.
Making sure you didn't get bonked or something because what it kind of looks like is when Bill Goldberg used to come down to the ring in WCW because his traditional thing was he would headbutt the locker before he'd walk out of the.
And I looked at myself in the mirror this morning. I didn't notice.
It might just be it is. It looks like just right there in the middle, right there. Yeah, you're on it.
That's possible.
Huh? No tenderness.
I always have mystery stuff. Well, anyway,
I didn't mean to bring out. He's like, he really did get excited. He's like, oh yeah. Kim's on the floor, twitching.
I don't know.
You all right, honey?
I mean, it's like a little tender, but not bad. And I don't know. I've always got mystery things.
Right.
What'd you do your arm? I don't know. It just showed up.
Weirdly, in the same spots on both arms too. I don't know if you ever have had that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where it's like, do I have a stigmata?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I just run into things and things happen. I'm half blind. But we do need to get the hour going.
Yep.
So we're going to replay an interview we had with Geneva Martinez from Many Hands and Dan Jennings from 100% Chaves County, talking about some programs and things they've got. They joined us on Friday, had a great conversation with them, so we're going to play it here in just a bit. Mary Gonzalez and her grandson Josiah joined us with the community volunteer program. They're on a school. They're doing a back-to-school drive, collecting things, and could use the public's help for that. So we're going to play that interview in the 8 o'clock hour. And then Lauren Dickinson with the Roswell Refuge joined us last week to talk about October being Domestic Violence Awareness Month. also talking about their Candlelight Vigil event coming up later on this month as well. So we'll play that interview for you here in the 9 o'clock hour. Plus, we'll have all of your features that include the newses of the local and national varieties, Wall Street business updates, and whatever else we can come up with for this today's show. Before we do any of that, though, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. Rain-free conditions in our forecast for the entire week. Abundant sunshine coming in for Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia for today. That afternoon high right around 85 degrees. Settling to the mid-50s for tonight with a clear sky, and then we'll move those highs up closer to 90 for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine streaming in. We're in the low 90s for Wednesday. Looks like for Thursday, too. Maybe some mid-90s Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
Thank you, Jennifer. Currently 58 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 42% with winds out of the north at 3 miles per hour. Sunny and 86 for a high today. Winds will be out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour, so pretty nice today. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 54 degrees and south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, sunny skies, highs back near 90 tomorrow. Winds will be out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, clear skies, overnight low of 54 degrees, south winds 5 to 10. Wednesday, sunny, a little warmer, 92 for a high there. Winds out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Looking at the rest of the week, sunny and 93 for Thursday, sunny and 94 for Friday. And then for the weekend, 94 and sunny on Saturday, 91 and sunny on Sunday. So it kind of gradually warms up just a little bit each day this week, and it kind of caps out at about 94 on Friday. All right, it is 24 minutes after 7 o'clock. We're going to take a quick, actually we'll get you into your Roswell Livestock Report for Monday, then a quick break, and then our interview with Geneva Martinez and Dan Jennings. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A good October run this week with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, light yearlings, bred cows. We expect to sell 1,150 head. Breaking down like this: 225, 250 weight cows of bulls, 100, 125 pairs of bred cows, 800, 850 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 15 to 20 cow-calf pairs, mostly black, white-face Angus and Brangus cross cows with black calves inside. Pairs 5 to 9 years old. Several smaller sets of young second and third trimester bred cows, mostly black, white-face Angus and Brangus crosses, bred to Angus bulls. 65 calves, Mr. J. Houston, Quemada, New Mexico. Reputation quality black, white-face Angus cross calves. Cattle weaned 60 days, 3 rounds of shots, medium condition, right off grass. 450, 600 pounds. 35 heifer yearlings, A.D. Jones Estate, Tatum, New Mexico. Reputation replacement quality red Angus heifers. Heifers weaned 90 plus days, 2 rounds of shots. Nice uniform set of replacement heifers in 700, 825 pounds. 28 steer calves, the Grisham Ranch, Port Dallas, New Mexico. Excellent quality black and red Angus and Brangus crossbred calves. Cattle weaned 60 days, 2 rounds of shots, right off cake and grass. 400, 500 pounds. 16 calves, Miss Cindy Claunch, Magdalena, New Mexico. Excellent quality black, white-face Angus crosses. Cattle weaned 60, 90 days, 450, 550 pounds. 17 calves, Bar Guitar Ranch, Picacho, New Mexico. Excellent quality black Angus and Brangus cross calves. Cattle weaned 90 days, 2 rounds of shots, 400, 500 pounds. Several rope and size calves in the run today in the 150 to 250 pound weight range. Sale time this morning, 9 o'clock. Sale pairs of bred cows 10:15, 10:30. Be selling calves and yearlings about 11:30. We expect to sell 1,150 head here today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Join Hot New Country 92.9 The Brand and Fiero 106.1 FM for a special live broadcast this Saturday from 10 to 1 at Roswell Ford. If you think you're stuck in your loan or lease, come see just how easy it is to get out from under your current payment. Top dollar for your trade and special incentives means you can drive in today and drive away in a newer vehicle for less than you're paying now. We'll be on hand with some tasty treats and even a few surprises. We'll see you this Saturday, 10 to 1 at Roswell Ford, corner at 9th and Main in Roswell.
The Roswell Symphony Orchestra is warming up for their 66th season, and you're invited to opening night with KO Plays Elgar, Saturday, October 12th, 7:30 p.m. at Pearson Auditorium in Roswell. Brahms' Academic Festival Overture and Elgar's Concerto for Cello and Orchestra bookends the world premiere of Bucolic Celebration, written by Southeast New Mexico's own Mark Del Porto. Tickets are available now online at roswellsymphony.org or at the door. Get your tickets now, then come be a part of opening night of the historic 66th season of the Roswell Symphony Orchestra, sponsored in part by the City of Roswell Lodgers Tax.
Being called a fox in your marriage might not always be a good thing. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and my wife, Miss Julie, for the Joy of Marriage.
In Song of Solomon, it says, "Catch all the foxes, those little foxes, before they ruin the vineyard of love." I looked up the word fox, and it means cunning, achieving one's goal by deceit or evasion. A female fox is a vixen, which is spiteful or a combative woman.
Those little things we do to try to get our way can ruin our marriages. Try just being honest and talking through the situation. Do what's best for your marriage, not just for yourself. When Julie and I learned to choose to do what's right instead of trying to be right, our marriage turned around. You will find marriage is so much better when we work together.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Alaska is the only state name that can be typed on one row of keys. Go ahead and try typing the other 49 states. We'll wait. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 25 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Geneva Martinez back with us from Many Hands here in Roswell. Also, Dan Jennings as well with 100% Chaves County. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a lot to say. I got to do it all in one breath.
Yes.
So. But
you did good.
Of course, for folks not familiar, there's a lot of it's all kind of focused on one thing: helping folks meet needs. That's kind of, but it's a lot of different umbrellas and offshoots here, because, obviously with 100% Chaves County, you're doing all kinds of stuff with getting people connected to healthcare stuff, to government aid, whatever, whatever those kinds of things. Many Hands, Roswell, they work directly with homeless. They a lot of their stuff, of course, with the warming center stuff, that's all under the Many Hands umbrella. But in reality, this is all one big kind of batch of people trying to just, turn over every rock and leaf and see what we can do to find some help for people around our community here. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what it's all about.
Yeah. And I'm also the housing sector, so 100% really hits on 10 different sectors in the community.
It's like Dan's just as much involved with Many Hands as much as Geneva's involved with 100% Chaves County.
Right, and it does take different partnerships with common goals to come together, and that includes also getting the city on board,
Absolutely.
talking to not just nonprofits, but for-profits, and how does the community work together for a common goal?
Absolutely.
And really, the common goal I've always had is more housing.
Absolutely.
And that looks different if we talk about housing as a continuum. If we have a long line of it, we do need the warming centers.
Mm-hmm.
That's emergency sheltering. We have the Roswell Homeless Coalition that is like more long-term sheltering with programming. Also looking at what is independent transitional type of, what does that mean?
Absolutely.
And that's like that rapid rehousing that Alianza has that helps people get into housing. And then so on and so on. We need the workforce housing to grow.
Sure. Well, and let's face it, a lot of the folks you're dealing with to try to help, a lot of it's transitional stuff. So it's like first things, especially if we're dealing with people that are homeless, unhoused, we're like, first thing we do, we got to get you an address. We got to get you someplace where people can send you things, get you where you can receive and get correspondence.
And have a place for your clothes.
Yeah.
And you can
so that's kind of, so there's a phase there where that, but then, okay, now we got some of that. Yep. How do we start getting you to a point where you're independently doing these things for yourself? And so And so that's some of the stuff we're talking about. That's where we're going to the next levels here with, okay, now we got this great program with these homes where you can live in here for X amount of months to get your established, to build a nest egg for yourself, to get to transition to being back to everything you're doing on your own. But at the same time, they're also learning this stuff, how to balance the budget, how to make sure you can pay your bills at the end of the month. What happens when the refrigerator breaks? That's it's all part of these transitional steps going from to wherever they went to getting back to where they're like living and doing and like what we all want for ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, if you think of it and that's the way it's going and building in that process, it kind of makes sense on how you guys do things and in the way in which you do them. If that makes sense, everything I just said there.
Yes. So with that, I guess we could talk about SOAR first and then the rehab to rental program.
Sure. I'll let you drive here. I'll just sit back and say,
I think I'll give the back history on how the conversation of SOAR came about.
Okay.
And then I'll hand it over to Dan so he can talk more about the programming.
Perfect. Okay.
And like the process of it all. I had several conversations with different people that stemmed after I went to University High School and met with all of their seniors. I did a quick survey with them, and through that survey, we identified that around 60 to 70% of the students were really concerned about after graduation that they cannot find housing, to the point where they wanted to leave Roswell. So we're not retaining our students to stay here. What is incentivizing them? And then also food insecurity. So that conversation was happening, but a whole nother conversation was happening with Andrea, who is a social worker out at Job Corps.
Okay.
And she was looking for housing for the students that are exiting. So she had several students that had jobs and were working, but there was no housing here.
Gotcha.
And that kind of stems back from the rehab to rentals that I was already working on, where we are looking at homes that are not in the best shape, that need some love and care.
Yeah, that's a win-win for everybody, because the neighbors love this, the owner of the home loves this, and at the same time we're helping a person or family get back to on their feet again here. It's a beautiful. I mean, what negative is to that? It's an amazing project. So I don't know why we can't. That should be. I don't know why that's not singing from the mountaintops, and there's not cities and municipalities trying to fund that. Because there's a win-win for everybody.
I don't think anybody looked at it this way before, because that's what we found with the state. and fortunately, we have some great news about that program. So it just doesn't help the person getting the housing. It also helps the property owner that has this house that's boarded up or needs some tender love and care.
That probably is lacking the finances, because they don't want it looking like that either. But life happens, and they got their family to feed and priorities, and that's low on the priority list here.
Yeah, we found that most of these houses are privately owned, but the people just can't access the funds.
Absolutely.
Or exactly.
There's 100 reasons why that's like that, and not all of them are nefarious.
And then the second part of it is finding local contractors or handymen that can do the work. So and using local supplies.
Which, we're feeding the workforce, creating jobs.
And then in the tail end, we do have, programming like HUD and Alianza that can step in to help people get into these homes.
Not to mention raising the property values of these particular places, or once looked at as dilapidated eyesores, are now an enhancement to the neighborhood. Which, guess what? Now your neighbor's house is worth a little bit more.
Right. And there's a big talk about what neighborhood stabilization looks like. And that's a big talk of 2020 and so on. We don't have a healthy community. We have to have healthy neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
And if we have neighborhoods that have 1 to 2, 3 to 4 houses that are boarded up, the neighborhood isn't stable.
Sure. Well, let me ask you a question. You go to a restaurant and it's got flies and everything's looking. Are you expecting a gourmet meal to come out of that kitchen?
Right.
No.
That's the point. If the neighborhood likes, are you expecting? Exactly. You're a product of your environment, and you're absolutely correct. And that's so. Yeah, it makes sense. It's just when you think about it in a way, it's like, if you want to fix things, let's break it down and see what the issues are. And at the end of the day, these are the issues.
Yeah.
How do we, all right, let's one at a time, check them off. How do we do this? And guess what? We're not going to fix it overnight, but a bunch of this definitely puts us in a direction better than I guarantee you, if we follow this and you look and take a 5-year period, I know for a fact this town will be healthier, financially better, and just a better place to live in 5 years. It just would. It's just, and you could take, we got a lot of other things going on with Reno air races and all that. Take all of that out of the equation and just do this. I guarantee there would be an improvement in this community. Property values, crime rates, all these numbers that we're bad at will change. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we ended up, I went up to Santa Fe in January and spoke with MFA. And they talked about this new innovation project that they had going on. And they were looking for people that are looking at affordable housing that hasn't been looked at in any other way.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so when I explained,
thinking outside the box.
Right, yes. Yeah. And so I explained that, it took going all the way back to pulling our housing plan from the city and looking at what our city had planned, and then finding some, alarming statistics about 70% of our homes have been built from 1920 to 1980. So we talk about water and infrastructure aging out. Our homes are aging out.
Need some updating, but in terms of bones, those houses are very good. Got some good bones.
Yeah.
You ever seen a house from the 20s? Those things will last.
Right. Exactly.
But they definitely probably need some TLC.
Exactly.
So I presented our project that we did with Many Hands. It was a pilot project. It was a concept.
Mm-hmm.
Really, my goal was to talk to the municipalities and say, hey, let's work together to identify these houses, and maybe they could go after some of this funding.
Mm-hmm.
But in the long end, MFA came back and said, we have a grant for $500,000. Well, we would like for you to apply for it. So I got with Dan, and we got it written out, submitted it through 100%, and received $500,000. We have been awarded it. We are still looking for houses, for one. So if there's any property owners that are listening that have some property that they want to get up as rentals, come talk to us.
Sure. It's like if you got stuff that may qualify for this, it's like, hey, maybe we can meet an agreement to make everybody happy.
Exactly.
Yes. And we're also looking for the workers, right? We're looking for the contractors and those that the handyman.
And which guys like Job Corps, because that's one of the things. There's probably students that graduate right out of the program can get into these
work with contractors and
these businesses and everything else. Yeah, it really is this. It's creating an ecosystem where it can self-sustain and do its own thing. Once you invest the time, money, and effort into creating it.
Right.
Right. Yeah. We identified the problem. We know that we need more housing.
Yes.
And from affordability, from emergency housing to all the way of new constructions, we need developers to come in and create more apartment complexes, more neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, we can look at what is the quickest way to affordable housing, and that's rehabbing houses that are already here.
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of like we're trying to combat long term, but at the same time we gotta put the Band-Aids to triage what we can triage right now.
And there's solutions for everything.
Sure.
And the nice thing about it is this is only one solution. There are plenty more that still have to be done. But in this case, we wanted to look at what is the solution that there's funding available for, that we can write towards.
If you're
and
a person
moving.
that's homeless right now, it's like, that's wonderful, but how can you help me today?
Exactly.
And that's what you're kind of addressing. We're trying to address both issues at the same time here.
We try to address any.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in and out of here, this radio show, for years and years. But I could say these last 24 months, there's been more movement.
Awesome.
And that it's because people come together.
It's also an election year. But yeah.
Well, what's great is that it's everybody at the table, because it doesn't affect just one
party,
right? This is something that we keep over and over saying, we got to get to 50,000, right? We have to have the housing to get to 50,000.
Sure. And this is kind of, and I hate getting political, but you cannot not do that in this circle here. And this is where I hate this whole party politics type thing. And I get it, the need, and sure, we can get in the national level and we can beat this up all day. But when you're here in your neighborhoods, in your county, in your cities, in your towns and things like that, it's not D or R, it's your neighborhood. What's best for the community? What, how does everybody live and coexist and be happy here? And what things do we need to do to support that and keep people that want to stay here? And what things do we need to do that? That has nothing to do with D or R, because every one of these folks here, whether they're D's or R's, they want to be happy. They want their family to have an opportunity, a place where they can raise their families, a place where they can find entertainment, where they can find things that bring their quality of life together. Everybody wants that. Now we can all decide, no, I want this or this restaurant or this racquetball court, whatever that is, but we all can agree on that's what we want. And if we can all agree to create and put that efforts in there, regardless of what Big D or Big R saying, let's do that. And that's really, and this is, to be honest, this is why I like having, when I have Jocelyn, my when she's not video producing, I have her in her Food Not Bombs. This is what, and then in yourself, this is all of this stuff we're talking about, and everything you guys are doing. And this is what I want the audience to know is you guys are just people doing this. You're not working for government entity X. That's your job to do this thing. Right. You and your people that are partner with are really just concerned citizens that, you have your day jobs. You got jobs to feed your family and do your thing. And then your passion is this. And this is the part in Geneva, this is where I think you guys are amazing on this stuff, is when you talked about that grant there. I was like, citizens, people, average person is not doing those kind of things. That's the kind of stuff you're hoping your city councilors, your elected officials are turning those rocks. Because quite frankly, most of us don't know that stuff unless you're in the picture. You just make it a point that you're in the picture.
I know. When I would have to show up to meetings, I'm like, I'm not with anybody. But just
and so that's the point. I was like, if you want a better community, if you're waiting on city council, if you're waiting on a county commission, you're going to wait forever.
Right.
This is how it gets done.
Community
people like
action
yourselves,
does this.
people getting involved, going to our officials and saying, hey, why isn't this getting done? Or, hey, I found out about it. Why didn't you guys find out?
Well, and the greatest thing is not coming up with the problems, because I think we know what the problems are.
But come up with a solution. It's easy to complain, but come and say, yeah, we got a problem. Here's some resources I found. What can we do? Can we partner together? And that's how you do it. That's what you guys are doing. And that's how we make this community better. So this is why I'm saying these things we're talking about, 100% Cheves County, Food Not Bombs, the many hands and
the SOAR program,
Homeless Coalition, these things that we've got put together. You and we, the public, have to get involved in this, because this is how this is changing. All the stuff we're talking about is an amazing stuff. But you know how it's going to happen? Everybody gets off their keister and does something about it. Do it your little part. Maybe you're a landowner or a property owner that you know what? Can I get a hold of those? Who's those people on the radio this morning? I need to talk to them. I got a house that needs some work. Maybe let's start. This is how it happens. It's one house, and this is how where we're at now. It started with one guy in one house and called a phone call, and here we go. This is really what's going on here. So
and really, in all of these programs can all be linked to 100% Cheves County, and so just going to that one website, you'll be able to find these different programs on that main page, and just click on it, and it will take you to the SOAR program that we're about to talk about. It'll take you to the rehab to rental. So if you're a property owner or somebody that wants to be involved with the culture, and it's not, we're not saying this is come help us donate your time and labor. No, these workers are getting paid.
We have money.
Sure.
Yeah. So
this is. I mean, it's charity, but charity to live, to survive. We're creating. So yes, people, and this is what I'm saying. It's a community effort. Everybody benefits here. This is not. Yes, we're helping homeless, but to help everybody.
Right.
Not to help just the homeless, to help everybody.
Right.
And that's the point here.
And the one thing that we really did find, like Geneva mentioned, was that there's this whole population of like 18 to 24-year-olds that are extremely vulnerable at this, that are graduating from university.
And to be honest,
graduating from job
one decision away from being
absolutely
in the system.
They're being exited from being in foster care. And so now it's like, great, you're on your own now, and that's not right. So that's why Geneva and her team came up with the SOAR program.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Segue.
again,
That
back
was called
to
a segue. Good job.
back to Andrea. Her vision for SOAR is actually more of a long term, which we still are looking like.
Exactly.
That's still a goal, right?
Again, part of what we were talking about earlier,
be,
we're trying to fix the immediate and for the next 20 years.
Mm-hmm. And so her goal and vision was of like a youth build where it's kind of like Habitat for Humanity, but it's with this population of youth.
Okay.
And so they build their own community.
Okay.
But in the quickest way of like, oh, but we have the problem now, right? So what does that look like?
Sure, that's the end game or down the road thing, but what do we do to fix that?
Right.
Time? Yeah.
So I talked to several property management companies and private landlords, and I asked them, so would you rent to like 3 or 4 18 to 24-year-olds? They're all, no, absolutely not. Like, this is, are you kidding me? This would be to handle those type of
Sure, let me bring the keys to my house too and have a party.
But one of the property managers said, but I would rent to you, like as an agency or a nonprofit.
You kind of be the responsible part, kind of co-signing on the rental here.
Right. Well, yeah. So then that's when the wheels started turning of how can we create a program but not recreate the wheel. So I'm going to pass it over to Dan to kind of explain like how we're partnering with community organizations already that are doing the work. This is going to take, again, a whole community to see this through.
Sure.
And so what we did was over the last about year, there has been this great youth advisory board that started to meet in the southern half of New Mexico. We recruited several young adults with lived experience of being homeless to be part of that so that they could start sharing their experiences, their obstacles, their successes. And when that started to take place, there's this HUD grant that started to form, and they created a community plan for the southern half of New Mexico saying, these are the projects that we want to see, and we want to see HUD fund these types of programs. And so here in Chaves County, since there wasn't any program that was coming into that being, working with Geneva and the SOAR team that she's got together, was like, let's apply
I was like,
for those
we'll
funds.
create one.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we can work on leasing units. We can work on leasing apartments.
Sure.
We can employ young adults that have lived experience to be our empowerment advocates. They're the ones that can be the leaders to help those other 18 to 24-year-olds build their independent skills living. And then the nice thing about it is the other part of the funding is support services. So the monies that we can receive from HUD now, which we just signed the grant agreement, is to then start providing those longer term, like if they need rental assistance, if they need utility assistance, if they need transportation assistance, food, any of those kind of things, even issues, if they have any like legal issues that they need to take care of, we have funding to help them with that.
Nice.
So the idea is to start clearing out as many of the obstacles as possible, connecting them up with other young adults that have been successful and have already gone through these things, and setting them up for long-term success.
And that's that's kind of one of those problems we're having here. Desire is not the problem. People these young people want what everybody wants. That's what you want here. But you're right. It's like, well, dang, and anybody that's dealt with a government entity, I don't care what it is and what it's about. There is never just walk in a door and walk out with widget and say, thank you, have a nice day. It's a gauntlet of go to this and fill out this form and this and duplicate and da-da. And quite frankly, it's by design. They want to see how hard up you are for this funding, and if you're not willing to, it's no different than disability in any other government program. You tell me somebody that got their disability the first time they applied, then you just found a unicorn. But it just doesn't happen, and it's no different in this world here. And so by default, you're getting kids that really have a desire, but they don't. No one's told them. They don't know. You don't know what.
No, you don't walk into this world knowing how to do these things.
And
there are great organizations that are here. Workforce Solutions can handle a lot of things when it comes to employment and education. We've got the TRIO program at Eastern Roswell. We have Casa Kids programs that are working with Family Resource Center. So like Geneva said, it's really just all of those groups that have come together with us in 100% to say, we can provide services.
Absolutely.
We can help provide those linkages for
and
those
so
young
that's
adults.
what the great part about it here is like, hey, we could do it. And I'm guessing because you guys are creating this program, that gives you a little bit of freedom as well. Because, again, when you tie to state, there's caveats, there's strings.
Oh, let me tell you.
We can't help it in this way and that way. Whereas if you're doing it without that, then you can get into the meat of the matter and say, I can really help you. I don't have to because you don't check these boxes.
Yeah, and we've been doing quite a bit of negotiation with finance, with the HUD programs and things like that to try to make sure that this is a demonstration project to ensure that we have a little bit of flexibility. And then Geneva and her team have been doing a lot of fundraising on that side for that reason.
Gotcha.
Yes, exactly for that reason. So the funding that Dan is talking about still won't hit our 100% for quite some time, for probably another couple months.
Red tape.
Sure.
Red tape. Red tape.
Yeah, it's all by design, folks.
Yes, it is.
It's there, yes.
But but in the meantime, we still have people waiting for services, and now we have this house. And we're very excited about this house. It's a 4-bedroom house, 2-bathroom. There is key codes on each of the doors.
I've seen pictures. It's a beautiful home.
Yes.
I'm a little jelly. I'm like, I'd move right in. That's a nice house.
Beautiful job.
So the 4 individuals that will be staying there will have a sense of security because their own room has its own keypad and lock.
It's kind of the impression I get. It's almost going to be like college dorm life a little bit for them. These are younger people. This is where
ideal.
A guy in their 50s probably is not down with that. But these are young people. They're communal livers. This is how you live.
And it's independent living where
they got their own private space, but they share bathrooms and kitchens and things like that.
And we don't want to make them feel so much like it's programmed, right? They independent living, 18 to 24, want to have their own time. Also, we don't keep them so busy that they burn out.
Sure.
But there are, there's house rules. We talked about maybe our advisory board and our board members to maybe pick a day and then maybe have a project, whoever's in the house, maybe cooking a meal together, doing some yard work in the yard.
Giving them life skills.
And how to fix that refrigerator.
Yeah, the life skills, the things that, I guess nowadays we all just
how to change a
get
tire.
An app on it, like call that app to fix that bad boy. But sometimes you don't need to do that.
YouTube University.
And I get it. I'm lazy and I'm not that, and I do it myself.
And each client will have different goals. So if they're coming from a program of like Job Corps where they have a job, looks different from the 18-year-old that just, timed out of foster care.
Absolutely.
And has still no family, but needs somewhere to go. Their goals are going to look a little bit different.
Sure.
So,
but then again, this is where you're building better humans because 3 different people, 3 different walks of life.
Right.
And you ever watch Big Brother? It's they get friends. You learn. You grow as humans because you see other perspectives. You see other things.
And this is not a competition in that sense too.
And so again, we talk about the physical side, the physical needs, the physical solving those problems. But you're creating foundation here. You're creating human beings to allow them to give them the tools, to give them everything they need to go do whatever their heart desires. And that's what we're building. So.
Yes, and so with that,
I know I get philosophical on you, but I'm the cheerleader. I'm trying to convince you to say this is good work.
We do. We
all
need it.
complain about all this stuff. This is how you fix it. If you're waiting for these people, you're gonna just keep getting on Facebook and complaining about it.
Right, right. And so while we're waiting for the government to hold their part with the funding. We have the house and we have clients waiting to get in. So we need to make this house a home with...
rather quickly.
Yes. And so here we are with the dream, but we also need the community. We're bringing in the community organizations.
Right now.
We need the people now, yes. Yeah. We have a target wish list.
Okay. It's general household items, things like that stuff. Things you need in your home is what they need for this home.
Anything from bath towels to forks and spoons to we
pots
still need
pans
2 beds.
What about like small appliances, coffee pots and microwaves or Keurigs or
all of those things to
Toaster
make a
ovens,
house a
all that-
home.
Yeah, stuff you have. Yeah.
There is a video that's on Facebook showing the house. Basically,
Gotcha.
we got to fill that house.
Excellent. Yeah, I see. That's the video. So it's a beautiful.
Yeah,
home.
and actually, I was going to say, if you don't have Facebook, some people don't. You
Yeah.
can always see this video at soar-nm.org.
Excellent.
So
You can go-
SOAR-nm.org.
And I invite you to go there anyway, because there you can learn more than see a video. You
Yes,
can see,
that's where the wish list is.
That's
where
where all the information that you
Exactly.
get involved in to find out more about it's right there. So.
And then for anybody listening that wants to be a founder of SOAR,
Okay.
we have different levels of sponsorship because we also need some of the cash flow to come in so we can start hiring our directors.
Any of our successful individuals in town want to do some philanthropic work? This is a great opportunity
please be a
for
founder.
you.
Businesses that want to have their name on this as well. It's
Mhm.
showing their support for
Absolutely.
these young adults.
And if you want to see a better community, again, this is how we do it. We got to, and yes, we need our rich folks to pony up some cash to help out here. And we need those folks that maybe you can't do it that way, then boots on the ground. Maybe we're
Absolutely.
come in and help, teaching a class or helping set up a home.
Be a good mentor, absolutely.
Or whatever, or just logistics, answering phones. Updating websites, all of that stuff is useful to the cause.
Absolutely.
That's kind of what we're at. So whatever you can do, this is what we're saying. Get involved. This is, and even if you don't have an opinion one way or another on homeless folks, I bet you have an opinion on wanting to live in a nice place. And this is how we do this. This is, problem. Anytime you have two people in a room together, there's going to be problems. This just happens. How do we solve them? How do we fix
build
them?
this better world.
And this is what we do, and this is how we do it. So get involved. This SOAR program is if it's like a fire, if you throw the kindling and you keep working this thing, we're going to have a amazing fire here that can really grow and really make a dent in solving issues in this community.
Absolutely.
And this age group is usually overlooked, mostly because maybe they still have a family structure and they can live at home.
Sure. Well,
but when I did that survey, it was over 60% of students had experienced homelessness in some way of fashion of couch surfing or sleeping in a car.
And I don't know all numbers and things, but if you look at national averages, people that live in Roswell, generally most people are below what they consider poverty line numbers and all that stuff. We are
21%.
We're a community that we got a great section of very affluent, rich folks. But the other side's very much the other way, and that middle class is a little off kilter here compared. Like if you look at those ratios and you look at the rest of the country, ours is not balanced that way. So,
right.
And so we have a much higher end on the below the poverty line.
And especially this population of 18 to 24-year-olds. Our youth board said that there's a lot of ageism out there that they're not even being looked at.
And so I get to the point, again, I'm getting philosophical, but I can go back now. You're going to wait for the next census to fill out your thing and wait for the next programs to be created that some elected official is going to tout to get elected, or we can get involved in this and get involved with 100% Cheves County, get involved with Many Hands, get involved with Food Not Bombs, get involved with these organizations that are literally just people that live next door to you saying, I want to live in a nice place. What can I do to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you what these two, and I know there's other individuals too, they're turning over every rock. You're always, and that's the beauty of it is you're not doing it adversarially, because it's easy to go in there and start guns a-blazing with city and county community officials. It's fun to do, I get you, and it's a lot that makes you feel better, but that ain't solving anything either. And so you're in there coming and you're saying, yeah, we got a problem, but I did this. This is some options we can do. What is the city? What is the county? What is the state willing to do to get involved with these things? And that's how you tackle it. So that's why I invite what you guys do. I applaud, and I think it's amazing stuff. And,
Thank you.
And I don't have many things I can do but if this platform and this, me cheerleading and supporting helps turn people to you guys, then I feel like that's how I can help. And so that's what I'm.
It's huge. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's it. And folks, this is how you fix problems. You're frustrated at city council meetings. You're mad at your water bill. You're mad at all this and that and that. I'm telling you, we don't have to solve every problem every night, but you got to roll up your sleeves and know what's going on in your community, and you got to do your part to help, and even in little ways. Support canned food drives. I'm not saying you have to go out and move mountains.
Nope.
Do little things. Mm-hmm. And everybody does that, then guess what? We got an amazing community.
Yeah,
how it works.
And that's kind of what With Many Hands is about, is bringing the people together. We recognize the problem. How can we all come together to confront the problem? And then bringing together with many organizations, right? So
absolutely.
So the people,
the collective.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And because what comes out of it, great ideas like this one. I mean, tell me a better idea than taking old dilapidated houses that people can't afford to find people that really can't afford to be in these houses. Let's fix up the houses. Oh, by the way, the people in the neighborhood are mad because that house looks in the toilet for the last 10 years that they're tired of looking at. I mean, everybody's happy.
Exactly. And
no person is mad.
And that's our dream, to be able to then continue this with SOAR together. So.
Yeah.
It's the, dare I say, the perfect equation here. Why not support and do whatever we can to make this happen? So, anyway, thank you guys. One more time, give out websites, give out best ways to get a hold of you guys, whatever they can do to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. For more information on the SOAR program, that's soar-nm.org. And then for any more information about the Re-Up to Rental program, you can always go to 100chaviscounty.com.
Very good. Anything else we want, Geneva, for Many Hands? Or I know Facebook, you just type in Many Hands. Food Not Bombs is another one I invite you to check out and learn more. They're the ones that they'll go around to restaurants or people that say, hey, I got an event, I just have a bunch of food. They'll go to the skate park or they'll go something, hey, we got food, come get food. I don't care where you are, where you're from, you need food, here's food.
Yeah, no questions asked. Yep. I love
they do more than that, but that's kind of their kind of their temple thing.
That's exactly it.
So, but anyway, any other websites, anything for you guys that we want to point folks out to?
No.
I think those are the places.
Dan got them? All right.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Mike.
And,
appreciate it.
Please come back often to keep us posted and updated and what else we can do to let folks know how to get involved here. So, good deal.
Thank you,
guys.
sir.
Thank you.
All right. It is 8:59. I'm going to slip in a 30-second ad before news here. Don't go away.
Exploit the region, which is rich in gas and minerals.
The United Nations Weather Agency is reporting that 2023 was the driest year in more than 3 decades for the world's river. It was also a record hot year in many parts of the world. Townhall.com. The past few years have not been kind to renters in the U.S., and for some, things could get worse in the coming years.
As many as 220,000 affordable housing units could disappear in the next 5 years. Those units were built with the federal low-income housing tax credit, which gives developers the tax credits in exchange for keeping rents low. But those buildings only need to be kept affordable for a minimum of 30 years. For construction in the 1990s, those deadlines are arriving right now, threatening to eliminate affordable housing when Americans need it most. Solutions are few and far between, leaving many people facing huge rent increases, even eviction. Jason Walker reporting.
Federal authorities investigating Saturday's emergency landing of a Frontier Airlines plane in Las Vegas, prompted by a fire in the right engine. No one was injured. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The tabloid said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Los Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes.
Hope all of you are having a wonderful day thus far. Had a good
Indeed.
weekend.
Yeah.
Got to spend some time hanging out at the fair, or just maybe at the concert at the Liberty last night.
Threw a little get together for my son's birthday yesterday.
Oh, how'd that go?
Very intimate, very small. It was just a couple of friends of the family, and went well. He got himself a brand new bike.
I was gonna say, as long as he cleaned up on gifts, he's probably happy.
He got a couple cool things from his mom and that half of the family earlier in the week, but we had the party over the weekend, and got his bike. He was riding that around.
So is this his first bicycle?
His first bicycle, yes. Yeah. He's had a tricycle before. He's had like a big wheel and stuff like that.
Graduating to 2 wheels.
Yes.
So this is his first.
Two and 2.5 wheels.
I was going to say, graduate. He hasn't. Yeah, he's learning to go the way of the 2 wheels. So how's his first outing on the 2-wheeler with the training wheel?
Oh, he went well. Dad is a little bit.
See, he doesn't seem like a kid that gets like nervous about stuff like that. Like he's gung-ho.
The thing is, I got to get his seat to the exact right height, because at first it was too high, now it's too low. But he gets to this point where he just stops pedaling. Like if he reaches resistance, he'll just stop. I'm like, dude, you got to keep pedaling through it.
Got to push through.
Right. But he seems to get the concept. So the helmet that I got him, it's one of those, like, it's got the green mohawk on it.
Okay.
And I didn't realize this, but it lights up.
Oh.
There's a button on it that you press to make the thing light up.
Right.
So my smooth brain assumes when you see something with a button on it, it's going to be in the front. So for about 20 minutes, my son's riding around this little semicircle in the backyard at my friend Misty's house with his helmet on backwards, because that's where the button is. I put it on where the button is in the front, because you would think that's what. No, it's in the back. I didn't.
I bet the helmet fit better once he
I'm sure it did. Yeah, because it was flopping all around. Yeah, it fit much better then. So, yeah, it's been a long time since I put a bike helmet on, myself or anyone else.
It's starting to sound like like when the oxygen mask drops in the airplane. Make sure you put your helmet on first before you put your kids, so you can help your kids.
Make sure you have the ability to put your helmet on first before you try to help your children. At one point, Rhiannon was trying to help, and somebody said something about, it's okay, he's a child. And it was pointed, no, he's the one that made the mistake, pointing at me. Oh, that's what Layla said. He's the one that made the mistake. Right. Allie looks at Layla and said, exactly. I'm like, shut up, Allie. Yes,
my
I
statement
know.
stands.
I'm a 40-year-old, 7-year-old. I admit that openly.
These are not something that Sherlock Holmes had to
figure
out. But he had an awesome time.
He did have a great time.
Good deal.
Had fun.
What was 'cause I know he had cupcakes with the kids at school.
So we ran out of time, but we were gonna do tarts.
Okay.
Because he's always all about trying new foods. He likes trying new stuff.
You've got like opposite spectrums in
Tell me about it.
department with your kids.
Yeah. He asked for his birthday dinner at Mom's house. He asked for fried chicken and mashed potatoes and gravy. I'm like,
that's Sean's boy.
The kid is up for trying all kinds of stuff. So we were going to do fruit tarts, but we ran out of time. So we ended up we still had kiwis and strawberries and stuff. So we let him try some kiwi and some straw. He loves kiwi, by the way. Big island boy. Oh yeah, very much.
He'll eat pretty much anything.
Yeah, to a point.
Yeah.
It does bug me that he doesn't like eating pepperoni pizza because he says the pepperoni are too spicy.
I think that'll change as he gets.
I hope it does, because boy, you were born in New Mexico. You cannot have that
yeah, pepperoni
light of
the
palate.
That's not supposed to hit you too. Like
you're kicking back broth.
That's not supposed to kick back to like your 30s.
Right. It gives me a terrible case of the reflux.
I look at a pepperoni and get a heartburn.
Oh, these days.
But, well, cool. I'm glad he's happy. And now I'm kind of, I'm telling you, maybe this is your new, no, they get you for exploiting kids. But like your YouTube channel. It's like, see what my boy will eat today.
That's not exploiting your kids. They do that all the time. Have you ever heard? Oh, what is his name?
I don't spend time surfing YouTube, so.
No, there's a kid, Ryan. Ryan. Yeah. Okay, so this kid was like 5 when all this started. His channel was called Ryan's Toy World. Mm-hmm. Basically, it's his parents started this channel where they give their literal like 4 or 5 year old kid a new toy to play with, to try out, to test and see how he likes it on camera.
Oh, okay.
This became a franchise. Ryan's Toy World has now released its own line of toys, its own line of like surprise, like what do they call them? Blind bags.
Yeah.
Where you could have like different, because it became a TV show.
Sure.
It was a YouTube series, which became a TV show. This kid who's like, I have to look it up now. I think he's like 10 or 11 now. He's worth somewhere in the realms of like $300 million.
Wow.
Off of some YouTube videos. And that is hardcore exploitation of your children. But
I can't, Sean, start buying pepperoni.
I don't know, man. I feel like maybe I missed my mark. Hunter's already 6. He's aged out of the system.
Oh, well, but with food, that's perfect. Not toys, but food's perfect.
Right?
What will my kid eat? Because that's entering prime window of pickiness of kids eating.
Okay, he's 12 years old now.
And he started when he was like 5 or 6.
When he was like 5 or 6. These are always wrong, but Ryan Toy World net worth. I mean, I know it's going to be like way off because it always is, but I'm just curious to see what they speculate.
Yeah, usually numbers are overinflated.
Okay, it says has an estimated net worth of over $100 million as of 2024.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even if it's half that, that's still impressive. I mean,
kid's 12.
I think we're going to have a Gary Coleman parent divorce,
right?
Emancipation situation going on with that.
I mean, you got to hope.
Years down the road here.
You really got to hope that eventually
about 4 or 5 years.
He's going to wake up and be like, this is my money and I need it now.
Kid turns around 15, 16, he's going to start, I'm being exploited. I don't know. Maybe they're putting all the money for him. I don't know. But yeah. I'm very curious to see what the parents.
It's been one of those because I've watched family vlogs.
$100 million, man. That's a lot of money.
I've watched vlogs over the years try to like do the whole, we're a family, we'll follow us. But it's always fallen apart because of like behind the scenes shenanigans or like affairs or some nonsense.
Well, now that you say this, I've got a curiosity. And I'm sure you've seen this, and I don't know their names, but they're kind of popular to the point where there's equal amount of people annoyed by them as there is that love them.
Right.
That means you've hit it big.
Yeah, that's pretty much that sweet spot.
But it's the family of and they're like Italian East Coast types, Jersey types. And they hang out at Costco talking about how great the Costco food is, the cookie and the chicken, whatever that thing is that everyone raves about at Costco, that chicken thing. And it's like a whole, like I guess they're TikTok videos, but it's crossed into X, and so now all of their videos. But it's this family, and everyone thought it was kind of genius at first, but then I think now they're digging layers. And
is it the one where it's like the 20-something kid, and he's got a dad and like a
well, it's a daughter. There's the kid, and then the dad is kind of the main guy, and I think the wife pops in too. Well, and it's a lot of like, boy, I sure love these chicken.
If it's the same family, they recently did a Gillette commercial.
Maybe. That
and
could be possible.
it's like these two-person Zoom call where the kid's like, talking about how clean of a shave he got.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Yeah. Is it that?
No, it's a different group. This is younger.
So that duo, the duo from that commercial, started as a TikTok like family that would just like the kid would do stuff to annoy his dad. And it really is almost a takeoff of like the Viva La Bam Margera thing of I'm just going to do things to annoy my family and get their reactions.
To be honest, that explains a lot because I see that commercial almost every football Sunday.
Yeah.
And so at first I'm like, was the dad a former player or something?
No,
he looks kind of familiar.
Just a dude from YouTube.
Just a guy with a kid.
Exactly.
Because he kind of almost has a broadcast like quality to him, the dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's Joe and Frank Meal. Joe, let me look that up. Joe and Frank Meal, because that's, they got real big on like short form like YouTube videos, and
now while you're searching, I'm going to search for this other family.
This dude, it was this dude who essentially just made it big on TikTok, and that they swoop into mainstream, and now all of a sudden you see him in Gillette commercials, which is funny because back in when I was a kid, it was if you could get Cindy Crawford for your Doritos commercial, that was the biggest get you could get. Now it's like, wait, you got Joshi from YouTube? And so it's a very weird.
I can't find their name, but it's these people.
Okay. I think I have seen those. Yeah. I think I've seen a couple.
Now it's kind of skip. Yeah, this kid.
I've seen the kid with the
and the dad
shawarma looking thing. You'll find a lot of those. There's actually, believe it or not, even in the autism community, and there's a lot of speculation about how much exploitation is too much of kids on the spectrum. But there's this channel I follow called Fathering Autism, and the girl in this on this series, Abby, I think she's like 14 or 15 now. She's entirely nonverbal.
Okay.
So like she's very much on that side of the spectrum, but it's basically the
how does she communicate? Signs or like pointing
sign language, but also through she has a board.
Okay.
That she kind of talks through.
And that's all like she's physically able to speak. It's all her autism.
She can like grunt and like
all the parts are there to allow her to speak.
Sure.
It's just the brain's not wiring right to allow her to do it.
Right. Right. Exactly.
She's not missing.
So, but the channel, and this is kind of why I like it so much, is it's less about her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's a part of it, but it's more about the rest of the family and kind of how it affects their day-to-day life and how it affects the real world that's still continuously moving around us while we're trying to make this happen for Abby. And it's a great little series.
Sure. It's kind of like, I don't know, like Little People, Big World when that started eons ago. That's how that series kind of started. It was, they're little people, but it's really more about life coexisting, because their family is some of the kids were average height, others were little people. And, the parents are both little people, but, only one of the children was a little person.
Right.
The rest of the kids were average size, or whatever you say. So it was kind of that life dealing with that, but then also showing, like that show, Say What You Want, for that community, it did a lot to put the I guess they call it LP community. They got them a lot of spotlight. They got them a lot of good resources for folks in that community.
Oh, for sure.
So by that part, it's good. Now, why it's going 30 years later, that's where I'm like, this horse is done. You've done beat this thing.
The problem is the original series raised the bar so high, and because they're so little, they've been reaching for it ever since.
And the kids are all adults, and all but the little person child is on the show.
Right.
The parents have both divorced and have remarried or redating and all kinds.
And they do cameos every now and again.
Yeah,
but
it's not the same show anymore, and so I don't know. I guess point I'm just thinking they do it because it's a good paycheck.
Yeah.
And it keeps the rest of their brand.
The network hasn't stopped the paycheck, so why should we stop filming?
And it keeps the rest of their brand on, because they have a pumpkin farm, and and even through the divorce that still happens.
Right.
It's all under the husband now. But anyway, I didn't want to get into
the roll-off family.
But it's very kind of similar with this YouTube initially. It's evolved.
If you really at its base, at its core, every single type of that kind of entertainment is exploitation at its core. I mean, it really is. It's just who's being exploited and for how.
TLC channel is all that in my 600-pound life or whatever they call that.
100%.
The sisters, I Am Jazz, all of that is for lack of a better thing, it's the Ringling Barnum, the sideshow. It's the modern version of that. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. We're gonna play our interview we had last week with Mary Gonzalez and the Community Volunteer Program. Of course, many know her late husband Johnny. Also, her grandson Josiah joined us. They're keeping, obviously, they've been going on with the Community Volunteer Program. They're doing a back to school drive, and so they're needing back to school supplies and things to kind of keep things going. We do a lot of this in August and July when the kids go back to school, but when we get to around Christmas time in this area, it's they need more supplies.
They do.
So that's kind of the point of this one. So we're going to play that interview here in just a few. Later on in the hour, we'll get you up to date with the newses of the local variety and all that, and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. Before we do that, let's take a gander at your weather. Pretty nice weather pretty much all week. 80s, upper 80s today, and then low 90s for the rest of the week, but can't complain. Pretty nice.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. Rain-free conditions in our forecast for the entire week. Abundant sunshine coming in for Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia for today. That afternoon high right around 85 degrees. Settling to the mid-50s for tonight with a clear sky, and then we'll move those highs up closer to 90 for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine streaming in. We're in the low 90s for Wednesday. Looks like for Thursday, too. Maybe some mid-90s Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
Thank you, Jennifer. Currently 58 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 48%. Winds are out of the north at 5 miles per hour. 86 are expected high today. Sunny with winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Skies will be clear tonight. Overnight low of 54 degrees. Good sleeping weather. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, expected to hit 90 tomorrow into sunny skies. Winds will be out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. We kind of progressively ticks up a degree each day. 92 on Wednesday under sunny skies. Southeast winds 5 to 10. Thursday, sunny. 93 for a high there. Friday, sunny. 94 for a high. And then it kind of caps out there because Saturday, also looking at sunny skies with a high of 94. And then down to 91 and sunny on Sunday. All right, it is 22 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're going to take a 2.5-minute break. And then we're going to play our interview with Mary Gonzalez and her grandson, Josiah, from the Community Volunteer Program. That's on the other side. Don't go away.
The Nightmare Before Christmas sales event is on now at Roswell Honda with scary good savings across the lot and a whole lot of spooky fun for everyone. Get as low as 1.9% APR on Accords, 2.9% APR on Pilots, and lease the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue for just $399 a month and zero due-it signing. And with purchase, pop the trunk of treats for lots of awesome prizes, including a $100 gift card, a 40-inch TV, or a giant bag of candy. And Roswell Honda will donate $50 from every vehicle sold to the Chaves County Cancer Fund. Scare up the savings during the Nightmare Before Christmas sales event at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
It's one of the fall's best family fun events. Art in the Park returns to JC Park Friday and Saturday, October 18th and 19th. There's plenty of live entertainment and food trucks, along with lots of vendors displaying their arts and crafts. It's always a great event for all that attend. So set aside the date, October 18th and 19th, the 49th annual Art in the Park at JC Park in Artesia, and paid by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
At Artesia General Hospital, we know it's early, but schedule your mammogram today and save. Call 855-RAD-EXAM and save 10% off mammograms scheduled through October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And get a refreshing drink discount from Kith & Kin in Artesia or Blue House in Carlsbad. We use leading-edge, FDA-approved Genius 3D mammography technology to deliver more accurate results faster and with more comfort. Women over 40 do not need a referral for yearly screenings. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/mammogram.
A good night's sleep is so important, and issues like sleep apnea make falling asleep and staying asleep nearly impossible, but we can help. I'm Dr. Sarah Usher at Carabelli Dental. With the help of a simple oral appliance, your sleepless nights could be a thing of the past. But don't take my word for it, just ask Lainey.
My name is Lainey Smith. I wasn't surprised when I found out I had sleep apnea simply because I had a horrible sleep pattern. I attempted to use the machine and it drove me nuts and I could not sleep with it. And then that's when Dr. Agger told me about the oral appliance. I would suspect I've been using it for 2 years now. In all of that time, I've had less than 10 poor nights of sleep. It's a complete game changer. I feel a lot better because I sleep.
This simple appliance can change your life. Call us today to set up your appointment so you can finally get the good night's sleep you need.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell or call 575-622-4455.
Playing dance music can help ward off mosquitoes. Now you have a reason to invite Pitbull to your next pool party. Here's Mike Winters.
And it didn't work because I eat beef and bacon equally as frequently here. Good morning. It is 26 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio. Pull that microphone up just a little closer to you, Mary. I forgot to tell you that part. You got to eat the mics when we get here. But
I'm hungry.
Well, take a bite. I cannot guarantee the taste. But joining us in studio this morning, of course, Mary Gonzalez is back. You've been on, but it's been a while since we've had you on this show.
Yeah.
Of course, many folks probably remember your late husband, Johnny, who was a staple on this show every Thanksgiving and Christmas. And And back to school time during the summer, Johnny was on just doing his community volunteer program. You know, whether it's Thanksgiving, getting turkeys, or collecting pencils and paper in the summer for school time. You know, your family and Johnny at the head there has been doing this for years.
Yes.
And now, of course, Mary, you've taken over. Now, your grandson Josiah, are you kind of running because I see you got director, so I think you're
I'm the director. Yeah,
you know, she's telling you what to do, but you're kind of the kind of running. I know the real.
yeah. Everybody points there like, yeah. I'm the guy that has a voice a little bit from the background.
Excellent. So we're joined by Josiah, your grandson, and director of the community volunteer program as well. That your family have made it a point saying, you know, we're keeping Johnny's passion going.
Yes.
And keeping, you know, his spirit and his name alive through this organization.
Yes. We've really enjoyed it. And we enjoyed you helping us out and being a blessing to us throughout the years.
And what I've always loved about your husband and your family is you guys just, it doesn't matter. It's like, hey, people need things. We just got to figure out a way to get things.
Yes.
You know,
Exactly.
and when if you spend any time in the nonprofit world, one of the biggest hurdles you hit is red tape and regulations because you got to protect and things.
Yep.
And your husband and your family over the years are like, yeah, okay, we'll do what we can there, but we're doing this because people need food, people need help, and I don't care if I've got to. You know, okay, so I can't do it at this building because we don't do this. Fine, but we're going to do it out in a park somewhere. We're going to do it. You know, that's something that your family's always been. Is I don't care. I mean, yeah, we're making sure everybody's safe and healthy, and we're not doing that kind of stuff. But at the same time, we're not letting red tape stop us from helping. And that's kind of what you're kind of true to heart right now, keeping that going with your back to school supplies and stuff. You know, I know, granted, we're 2 months into school here, but families that need school supplies all year round. Pencils, paper gets lost. Yes. You know, backpacks get lost, stolen, fall apart. You know, things happen.
Yeah.
But they still got to go to school, and they're still expected to have these. So it's kind of nice that, you know, we all think about this in August, but no one's thinking about it in October and January. No. And so that's where you guys come in.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it, because I've gotten a couple of calls, and people don't have backpacks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they don't have school supplies. They don't have the funds. They're either moving in town, and all that money is used to move town and get their house.
Absolutely. Oh, by the way, they got the rest of their life to figure out. And and families that are living paycheck to paycheck, and there's a lot of them. All of us have been there, or maybe are there currently, or been there at some point. Mm-hmm. You know, when anything extra that happens, it blows the budget. And school supplies, Christmas, Thanksgiving, these are the kind of things that are families that are barely scraping by. This is what breaks the bank, because they can't afford to. And then, you know, and so this is and this is where the Gonzalez family comes in and says, all right, let's help out with that.
Yes. You know? And I really appreciate so far. I'll put Hanan. Hanan has been a help to us. She is a manager at Red Lobster.
Okay.
Throughout the years, she's brought her staff and herself to do the kitchen for us.
That's so amazing.
And she brings her own
And they do
stuff.
it out of their own kindness of their heart.
Yes.
They're not expected to. Ain't nobody at Red Lobster telling them they got to do this. They're doing it because they live here and they want a great community. And that's awesome.
Yes, they do. And to feed others, she loves community services.
That's amazing. And because of people like that, and your family's lumped in there as well. That's why, you know, we have such a great community. It's because of things like this.
I love the community.
You know?
I love it because people hear about it and then they start giving by either school supplies, monetary donation, because they can't go out, okay? Or they don't have time. They got jobs, you know?
Or they don't have the money. Because literally, like I said, bills are paid, but anything extra ain't going to happen right now.
No.
And unfortunately, school supplies and things like that fall into those categories.
Yes, they do.
So, because if it comes to means of paying for dinner or paying for medicine or getting the kids pencils, they're paying for the medicine, they're paying for the dinner, the food. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why extra helps. This is why if you have the means, people that, you know, you're a little bit better place.
Mm-hmm.
Buy some school supplies, could dump them off here or offer services. Like if you know, there's a lot of help that you guys could need. Facilities, storage, to disbursement, to collections.
Yes.
There's a lot of different logistical avenues that volunteers, people that would like to help out, you could have a place for.
Yes. I do, definitely. A lot of staff have left, in the past when Johnny passed away, and that's because work.
Well, and I'm going to take a stab is once Johnny passed, most people kind of forgotten a little bit about the community volunteer program. It's kind of, that was fun while it lasted, but Johnny's not here no more. Therefore, it's not available. And you're kind of saying, no, that's what we're, okay, Johnny was probably better at this than all of us, but we're going to try real hard to fill Johnny's shoes here. And we're doing our thing. And I think we're doing a great job. But I am not going to lie. No one beat your husband, Johnny. He was a master at this.
No, he was. Yes. And he had the whole family behind him. Let me tell you, I hated publicity.
Yeah.
Not Johnny.
Johnny, no.
No,
Johnny looked for a camera.
Yes. First thing he sees in the whole room, yep.
But he did that with every facet of his life, from community volunteer to prison ministry to everything in his aspects of life. That's what he did. So.
Well, we were going into the prison about in 22, I think it was, but COVID hit in 20, and they closed
put a kibosh on a lot of stuff.
And also the buildings were closed down. We just weren't able to. We weren't. That's the main reason.
Yeah, and now you're trying to get back in the world and getting things going again. And right now, we're doing school supplies because that's where the need is right now.
And the reason right now is because a lot of people weren't able to do it. Maybe a couple, but not really.
Well, in the school year, because it started early, the calendar of how events happen was thrown off a little bit here.
Yes.
And then again, getting back to my point, if you are living paycheck to paycheck, I mean, even when it's in the normal time, it's tough to do it. But then when it's at a time when it's not expected or not able to plan for, then it creates a bigger need and a bigger, and that's kind of to your point here, even more so this year because of the schedule and the way things happen and the other aspects of life.
Yes.
There are many families here that didn't get a chance or didn't get a big enough chance to prepare their kids for school this year.
Exactly.
So we want to help them do that.
And I got a letter from the Roswell Independent School District. They approved for me to take on flyers for needy children.
Excellent.
So, there's going to be a few.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
So schools are working with you to try to,
to
help address this need as well, too.
Yes.
So, and it's great because guess who knows needs? It's the teachers. It's the people that see these kids every day, that deal with these kids every day, that know exactly what's going on in these kids' lives. Exactly right. As my wife, a teacher, I know exactly how it is. She knows exactly where her kids are and where they need and what they're missing. They know.
Yes,
they
do.
Because quite frankly, especially at the early elementary level, the person that spends more time with your kid than you is that teacher.
Yes, that's very true.
They're raising them, huh?
It's like the second mom. Yeah,
exactly. So that's great that the RSD's there because that and you get the teachers there, and now you can get the specifics like, hey, Sue needs shoes. Bobby needs a notebook. Let's get what we can do to do that. So,
oh yes. And then Walmart, they sponsored us too, and
Walmart Senior Circle has helped us out with
excellent.
Oh yeah,
Brooks. Oh my God.
Yes.
And she said she'll have these elderly people do the backpack if I want to.
It's a big thank you to the hospital because for folks that don't know, Senior Circles is a part of Eastern New Mexico Medical Center, the hospital, and Brooke Lith to come over there. So thank you for them. Also rallying and supporting you guys here.
Yes.
And I'll put the plug out if there's other businesses or organizations listening. You dealt with Johnny in the past and you were helping out in that ways and that kind of stuff. Oh, that's great. Mary's doing her to help her out too. Reach out to Josiah or Mary here and say, hey, I heard you guys on the radio this morning. It's not much, but we got a place if you want to store stuff or we got some school supplies. We'd love to donate. Whatever you can help. Trust me, we'll find a place for it.
Yes, amen.
Yeah, it's kind of, we have so many great organizations that do a lot of things in our community, but I really, really enjoy organizations much like yourself. I always talk about our Jocelyn Food Not Bomb. She does that where she shows up at the skate parks feeling they'll collect food from places. And I love organizations like this because they're just doing everything they can to serve the needs and wherever the need is. They're like, there's no set organization or plan. It's not. We're not going to create this event. We're just like, I don't know, there's a bunch of people are hungry. How do we get them food? Let's start rallying. And instead of, we're going to create this committee to do this, to do that, it's just, no, we're going to go start knocking on doors. We're going to start phone calls and we're going to start making things happen. And you that.
Mm-hmm.
Food Not Bombs is another organization that does that, and that's why I like supporting organizations like it, because at the end of the day, it's just people that said something needs to be done. I'm tired of calling whoever here to do something about it. I'm just gonna do it, and that's what I love about it.
Yes, that's what we do Thanksgiving and Christmas. Exactly. And Hanan was gonna do the Christmas dinner, but she has to have it open, and she wasn't able to.
Well, they're big logistical events to pull off, and not everybody's capable of doing it, and that's
but
why
be there.
That's why Johnny's a blessing, because he was one of those people that could make that happen no matter what. And so we take on. So please, folks, get back on the radar and start calling Josiah and Mary, and start getting all you folks that were working with Johnny over the years. We're I guess you could say creating the phoenix here out of the ashes, and trying to and recreate and continue the legacy that is Johnny and what he did for this community.
Give the phone number.
Okay. Well, her phone number, the special lady right here, Mary Gonzalez, is 575-626-9844, and me, guy right here with the T-shirt, not the voice.
Now, if you need like leg work done, call Josiah.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen? You're going to call Mary, and then Mary will call Josiah, and then Josiah
Yep.
go do it. So they're going to cut out, say Mary can stomp on another fire, and Josiah can take care of it.
I'm the muscles here. She's how it goes, the bronze and the brains. Yeah,
that's right. Brains, brawn, training the brawn to be brains down the road.
The leg.
The family tradition.
Yes, that's it. That's what I'm doing.
Absolutely. So, out that phone number.
All right. Josiah. My phone number is going to be 575-244-1729.
Excellent. And of course, if you need, maybe you have needs and stuff, reach out. Maybe we can help you out with something. If you need touch of resources, or saying, I got a family that's having some issues, let's see if we can turn the workings of the Gonzalez family to help you.
I always eat. God always provides.
Well, and that's just it. But here's the thing too, and this is where Johnny got it. You know how many problems you can solve over a burrito dinner or an enchilada plate? You know what I'm saying? How many conversations, how many life lessons you can share and bestow upon people over breaking bread together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's and Johnny always got that. That's why Thanksgiving's so important. He didn't care if you wanted extra turkey. He didn't care where you came from. He didn't care if you were, you could pay your bills or you couldn't. He just you want to come eat and fellowship? Come eat and fellowship. I don't care if you're rich, you're poor, you could afford this dinner, you can't afford this dinner.
Yes.
You got a stomach, you got a mouth, you're a human, come on and have a meal with
We used to have a lot of elderlies too because their spouse died.
Yeah.
And
that's just it. And holidays are that worst time of year for people that have lost people or that are alone on the holidays. And sometimes having a meal together and sharing God's love.
Johnny decided to go on November 25th, right on Thanksgiving.
Well, I think he went because he knew his work was done.
Yes.
He said, you know what? I've done all I can do. It's time to pass the baton.
Yes. Yeah, and we did.
Called him for other things, bigger and better, wherever that is.
A whole lot better where he's at.
Where they put him. I don't know how that works. I don't know if they station him on another, I don't know how that works. I'll find out soon enough.
Yes.
But please reach out. If you don't mind, Josiah, give out that phone number one more time.
Okay. Like I said, this lady here, Mary Gonzalez, my grandma, her number is going to be 575-626-9844. And me, the guy, like he says, the bronze, 575-244-1729.
Very good. And if you can help out with school supply donations or logistical stuff or any of those kinds of things, or if you've got resources to provide or share. And we're talking, and I say school supplies, I would even throw in, if you got shoes, clothing, things like that, all of that, we can find someone that needs. So if you got some of that stuff that's clean, serviceable, good, please don't think of us as your place to dump your crap, because that's what the dump's for.
Yeah.
But if it's good stuff.
Yes.
And if you're residential, they'll do it for free, so you don't have to worry about dumping it off here. But if you got good stuff, good equipment, or if you want to buy new school supplies, go to Walmarts and Targets or whatever, and go buy up notebooks and pencils and glue and backpacks and all that stuff. And reach out to Josiah or Mary here, and we'll figure a way to get it to them and all that good stuff.
Yes.
So excellent. Anything we missed? Anything you wanted to share that we just spaced on, or I talking about something else on?
No, yeah. Well, the location's going to be at the American Legion Post 28.
Yeah, that was probably important information. I should
right
not,
there, like where's it supposed to be at?
Yeah. So that would be called, vital information.
Yes.
That'll be at the Post 28 there on Missouri, at the American Legion there.
It's going to be October the 12th, 12:30 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay, so is that what, next week or a week after? It's coming up here.
It's coming up.
I know we're on the 2nd. We're about 10 days out.
Yes.
So from the event here. So,
next week.
But please gather your school supplies, get it on out, and then of course, like you said, come out to the American Legion on October 12th here. It's the Post 28 there on Missouri. I don't remember the actual address, but it's right there in Missouri.
On Montana.
Montana. I'm sorry, not I got my M's wrong. Montana. Yeah, it's right down the street from the
Walk for Hope.
Walk for Hope, and the Joy Center and stuff's not too far away and all that.
Yeah,
It's right
and then
in that
we have
neighborhood.
drop-off locations. Right now we have the Pioneer Banks, all of them.
Okay.
And we also have $1 on North Main.
Okay.
And
so if you want to just pick up school supplies and drop them off at any of those locations, and I'll even say it here, if you've got them, you bring to this radio station, I'll make sure.
And the radio station too, and
We'll be
Red
happy.
Lobster too.
Yeah.
It's go ahead and just do what you want. If you mainly bring it here, if you want, you know, because
Pro tip, if you do drop off your stuff at Red Lobster, drop it off before you eat. That way you don't get lobster butter all over the toys and the school supplies and stuff.
Nobody wants that.
No one wants butter all over their paper.
And eat the good food with it.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. But thank you guys. Appreciate
Yes.
it. And hopefully see you guys more often now that we keep moving.
Oh yeah! Now that COVID is gone, name it Jesus.
Game on, right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
It took off everything.
It does. It did. It people are, and we're still dealing with that too. I mean, we're talking about all this other stuff, and we're still dealing with COVID crap.
I know the
It's still
doctor
a thing.
warns me. I say, well, I got God. Keep going.
Well, that's why I figure I was like, my time is my time. It gets me, and so be it. It is what it is. I got to keep doing what I'm doing till I'm not to do it anymore.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Until I can't.
Exactly. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time, and we'll see you on the 12th.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. Okay.
All right, it is 9:43. Let's pause for news. Your Sean Hannity update, and I got time, Cowboys fans, so I'm going to get that Cowboys report into you as well. So we'll be back on the other side. Don't go.
Agreed Friday to step into a fight over plans to store nuclear waste at sites in rural West Texas and New Mexico. The justices said they will review a ruling by the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals that found that the Nuclear Regulatory Commission exceeded its authority under federal law in granting a license to a private company to store spent nuclear fuel at a dump in West Texas for the next 4 decades. The outcome of the case will affect plans for a similar facility near Carlsbad. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. The Roswell Coyotes assert themselves against a would-be contender in the district race, the Gadsden Panthers, on Friday night. Gadsden came in the contest with a 5-1 record, but Roswell demolishes them 48-7. Roswell plays next in 2 weeks at Artesia. Meanwhile, Goddard loses at Deming by a score of 39-14. The Rockets are now 1-3 in district play. Dexter remains unbeaten, a convincing win at NMMI 38-0. Garrett Gonzalez 132 yards rushing. CJ Granados, the Demons quarterback, over 100 yards both passing and rushing. Meanwhile, it was Melrose in 8-man football taking on Gateway Christian in Roswell and winning easily 62-16. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naylor with your Pecos Valley weather. Rain-free conditions in our forecast for the entire week. Abundant sunshine coming in for Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia for today. That afternoon high right around 85 degrees. Settling to the mid-50s for tonight with a clear sky, and then we'll move those highs up closer to 90 for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine streaming in. We're in the low 90s for Wednesday. Looks like for Thursday, too. Maybe some mid-90s Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
all across America. This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
I'm James Flippin. The September non-farm payrolls report was a welcome boost in sentiment for Wall Street Friday as the geopolitical unrest in the Middle East has led to spiking oil prices and put pressure on stocks most of last week. That said, the energy sector enjoyed one of its best weeks in years. Chevron and ExxonMobil advanced. Looking ahead for the market, many analysts seem to agree that the strong jobs report suggests another 50 basis point rate cut is unlikely the next time around for the Fed, as Central Bank Chairman Jerome Powell has also indicated he expects that cuts of a 0.25 percentage point are more likely in the coming months. Big names in tech gave the NASDAQ Composite a boost Friday, talking about Nvidia, Tesla, Netflix, among the mega cap stocks that rallied. It's back to work for dock workers along the Gulf and East Coasts after that port workers strike that started last week. Members of the International Longshoremen's Association and management groups reached a tentative deal on wages Thursday. Costco is now adding platinum to its lineup of precious metals for sale. The bulk retailer has already had success selling gold bars and silver coins. That's the Market Report.
This
I'm James
is
Flippin.
the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report. Resort living can be yours with 361 days of sunshine when you live at the residences at 400 Central in St. Petersburg, Florida. Now under construction. Call 727-205-8517. That's 727-205-8517. The residences at 400 Central in St. Petersburg, Florida. Go to 400central.com. That's the number 400central.com.
At Artesia General Hospital, we know it's early, but schedule your mammogram today and save. Call 855-RAD-EXAM and save 10% off mammograms scheduled through October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And get a refreshing drink discount from Kith & Kin in Artesia or Blue House in Carlsbad. We use leading-edge, FDA-approved Genius 3D mammography technology to deliver more accurate results faster and with more comfort. Women over 40 do not need a referral for yearly screenings. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/mammogram.
Dion's is homegrown right here in New Mexico and is the perfect place for team dinners, family gatherings, and all of your catering needs. Stop by our location on South Main and West Wildy, where you can feed 5 for $35 plus tax with a large one-topping pizza and a family-size salad. With Dion's, we make it easy to bring together your favorite people with your favorite food. Visit Dion's.com to order ahead for dine-in or for pickup. That's Dion's.com. Dion's, where great food and good people meet.
At Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium, we honor and pay tribute to the achievements of your loved one by celebrating the life you shared together. Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium is compassionate and cares about our local community and the families we serve here in southeastern New Mexico. Locally owned and operated, we will be here to help you decide how to celebrate the bond you've shared and pay tribute to the unique individual you've lost. Visit us at 2609 South Main in Roswell or call 622-5888.
What? My trade's gotta be worth more than this!
Hey, Roswell and surrounding areas, don't get hit hard by low trade offers. Right now, the all-new Roswell Ford needs your trade. That means you'll get top dollar for your trade. Stuck in your loan or lease, Roswell Ford wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than your trade is worth. So you can drive a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle for a lot less. For a limited time, get 0% APR or no payments till 2025. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Roswell Ford has partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford with new management and a whole new attitude. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 36 months is $27.78 per thousand financed on select models. No payments till 2025. Subject to lender approval through Ford credit. Offers not combined.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
You are 13.8% more likely to die on your birthday. Think about that the next time you want to celebrate your birthday month. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:51. Got a few minutes here before news at the top of the hour. Hey, mark October 20th on your calendars, because coming to the Liberty on Sunday, October the 20th, you don't want to miss an evening with Terry Clark. That's right. All you Terry Clark fans, it's going to be a great night for you. Doors open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 8. You can get tickets right now if you go online to thelibertyinc.com, thelibertyinc.com, and get your tickets before they're gone. For more information, again, visit thelibertyinc.com, and come on out for an evening with Terry Clark, again, Sunday, October 20th, at the Liberty, 312 North Virginia in Roswell. This is a 21 and older event, so get a sitter for the kids that night, and make it date night, or make it friend night, or, whatever. But come on and have some fun at the Liberty. An evening with Terry Clark, Sunday, October 20th. Also, something else I wanted to put on your radar here. On October 28th, friend of the show, Elliot Rodriguez with Loan Depot. He is having a grand opening and ribbon cutting of his new Roswell Loan Depot office. So come on out, meet his staff on October 20th. Come see his new office, which is located in the Plaza West building, which is located at 204 West 2nd. He's in Suite 5 there. You can come and meet the faculty. Come see the staff, or come see the facility there. Also, get answers to questions. Like if you want to learn more about, owning a home, his staff will be happy to answer those questions. Like what kind of money do I need for down payments, documents, that process. What programs are available to me. All those kinds of things his staff can help you with at his grand opening event. Again, October 18th from 2 to 4 p.m. at the new Roswell Loan Depot office there in the Plaza West building, 204 West 2nd in Suite 5 there. Come on out and join us. And usually he's probably going to put out some eats and treats and sweets and all that good stuff too. So come and eat his food too.
Refreshments. You will be refreshed.
That's right.
Ever since I was a little kid, whenever I hear refreshments, and this is the fault of the church that I grew up in, I will always, when I hear refreshments, picture watered down Kool-Aid.
Okay.
And the cheap sandwich cookies you would get from Sure Saving with the flour on the front with all the holes in them. Those, the chocolate and vanilla. That was refreshments.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you're talking about. Matter of fact, the cookies of which you speak, they also, and I'm not sure if you're referring to these, but they had the whatever that is, the vanilla crack cookie, the chocolate cookie with the creamy cream in the middle.
Yep, always vanilla cream. There was never a chocolate cream, but yeah, exactly.
It was always that hybrid.
Those cookies and like one of those like igloo like things you dump on a coach at the end of a game. Things full of water and like 2 packets of Kool-Aid.
And I'm going to take a stab that those cookies are probably healthier, because though they look Oreo-like, the shortbread that they make it with is not the same consistency. It's much stiffer.
It is a much stiffer. It feels,
and it's a less sweet.
Yeah, but it's exactly it almost feels like you're paying a penance for your enjoyment, which if you're at church, it feels right. You're like, I can't have too much of this enjoyment.
Right.
But I will say that's the one place I learned the only palatable way to eat those cookies is to dip them in Kool-Aid.
Okay.
That I know normally cookies and milk, but
a particular
for some
flavor of
reason,
Kool-Aid, or does it matter?
It was almost always fruit punch.
Okay, yeah, it was usually red.
Exactly, the red one. But for some reason, that specific generic sandwich cookie always tastes really, really, really good after being dipped in Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
That's probably the diabetes in me talking. But
speaking of, I have a sense, like I remember, like when I I used to talk about my trips to 7-Eleven to get my, I have my burrito, and my brother and I did. It was kind of, he was way more regimented about it than I was, but yeah, I do it on occasion too. But anytime I had a little, extra free cash, I'd be like, ooh. So I would always get the, they weren't the Hostess brand, they were like, and they weren't Miss Freshly, but they were like, maybe they were Tasty Cake.
Okay.
Basically the Hostess cupcake, the chocolate cupcake with the cream, with the little squirrely icing on top. That thing, but not Hostess version. It was, I think it was like a Tasty Cake or something. It was a lower tier. So I'd always grab one of those, and then I'd get a little thing of rolled gold pretzels.
Okay.
But I'd always eat the cupcakes first, and then wouldn't drink soda, and then I'd eat the pretzels. And this was kind of before a time where chocolate covered pretzels were like on every shelf.
Right.
Occasionally you'd see them like in that bulk food section at the grocery store in a barrel, but that's about it. And so that to me is just, even to this day, I eat a cupcake, I'm like, ooh, I want a pretzel.
You instantly want that salt. You ever thought about taking one of the Hostess cakes, putting a couple of the pretzel spears in there and trying it out?
I might. Yeah, I didn't think of that because I kind of liked, I didn't want to, I was almost like I liked eating pretzels with the chocolate aftertaste still in my mouth. The pretzel and the cake together was almost not the sense memory I was going for.
Fair.
If that makes sense.
I went through a weird phase where I was like, I would only eat Take 5 chocolate bars.
I'm a fan of those. I've only had maybe 3 or 4 my whole life because I don't know why. I just haven't. But every time I've had it, I'm like, this is a good candy bar. I need to get one more often than I
throw
ever
a
do.
pretzel in your candy bar. Who knew? Who'd have thunk it? But yeah, that was the height of my sweet and savory world. Was
I feel like there wasn't there a Snickers
they've
pretzel
done
version? Because I seem to remember being on a kick where they had but they weren't like regular Snicker. They were more like a 2-pack.
Yep, the squares.
Yeah, and they were more square. It wasn't like a Snicker bar per se.
Right.
So
Snickers is weird with their variants. Like I see them sneak one in every now and again. Like I was in a grocery store the other day and I saw Snickers pecan.
Ooh.
Yeah, right? That sounds awesome.
I'm a huge fan of their almond one.
See, the almond one, I
like almond crunch. I like that harder. And to me, in a candy bar,
I do like almonds, but I just don't feel like I like the kind of almonds they use.
Like chocolate ice cream with almonds in it is a 10.
Like, have you ever had Jordan almonds?
I don't know.
Those are those big. They're usually like weddings. Okay. Those big almonds that are candy coated.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, they're not.
I think I've seen them, but I don't think I've ever eaten one.
It's the worst. It's the most deceptive candy known to man.
Do they usually have like a shell on it, almost like an M&M?
Just a shell. There's no chocolate. It's just chocolate or just candy shell and almond.
I've had those.
It is so deceptive if you're a kid at a wedding.
That's what it is. It's not that they don't taste bad. You're expecting an M&M like taste, and it's nothing like that.
It's just nut and shell.
Yeah, it's just more crunch to a crunchy nut.
Yeah. And it was very, very disappointing at the wedding I was at when I was 9.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what my favorite like surprise like that was? Easter. When you get the little eggs, candy, the little wrapped in the foil, and you think it's just chocolate, and then you start sucking on it, and it's a crackle one.
Oh yeah.
That's almost like finding an extra prize in your Cracker Jacks or something. I was so happy. Yeah.
You weren't expecting it. You know, there was when I was a kid. Okay, we got
40 seconds. Yeah.
When I was a kid, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe made Turkish Delight sound so much better than when I, as an adult, and found out what it actually was.
Yeah.
It's like when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, that sounds so amazing. It's just like off gummy candy that tastes like licorice and oranges. It's not pleasant.
To be honest, it sounds shady to me.
A little bit.
Turkish Delight. Kids, get in the room.
It's a great way to get a kid to a wardrobe, I'll tell you that much.
All right, it's 9 o'clock. Town Hall News up next. We're going to replay our interview with the folks on the Refuge next hour. Don't go away. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side of news. Stick around, por favor.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. First, it was Hurricane Helene a few weeks ago. Now, here comes Milton. Hurricane Milton strengthening to a powerful Category 4 storm headed toward Florida's Gulf Coast. Governor Ron DeSantis pulling out all the stops to get ready.
More than 200 ambulances and more than 30 paratransits are in Central Florida. Footprint ready to support first responder operations. And as previously noted, we've ramped up our support of debris removal. That's a 24/7 round-the-clock mission.
Landfall expected Wednesday.
Right now, again, that more broad risk area, essentially from kind of just south of the Naples area, northward up into the sort of almost Florida Big Bend. Again, that's where the hurricane watch is currently in effect.
The National Hurricane Center's Dan Brown. The Supreme Court, it's back in session now, its fall term, has let stand a decision barring emergency abortions that would violate the law in Texas. Texas has one of the country's strongest pro-life laws. Former President Trump says he had Iran on the ropes during his time in the White House.
They had no money. They weren't giving any money because they had no money. They had to survive. And I would have made a fair deal with them. I only wanted one thing. You can't have a nuclear weapon. You cannot let them have a nuclear weapon.
Interviewed by the Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt, Mr. Trump faulted the Biden-Harris administration for enriching Iran, allowing it to support its proxy terror groups that have wreaked havoc in the Mideast and beyond. The deadly Hamas terror attack on Israel that ignited the Gaza war happened a year ago today. Solemn commemoration ceremonies being held all across Israel. Hamas marked the anniversary by firing a barrage of rockets at Tel Aviv. On Wall Street, stocks are in the red. The Dow is down 188 points. The Nasdaq is off 75 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Injured an attack in the Eastern Cape of South Africa.
The motive of last night's mass shooting is unknown, but it's believed the men were ambushed because of their community patrolling services in Godini village near Qumbu, where livestock theft is on the increase. The killings took place on the day of a memorial service of 18 people who were shot dead in another village a week ago. The mass shooting happened as villagers were preparing for a traditional ritual. 15 of the victims were women. Police said a baby was the only survivor.
The BBC's Namsa Maseko. A team of international scientists is in Fukushima to ensure safety of the discharge of treated radioactive wastewater from the damaged nuclear power plant. Japan started discharging the wastewater in August of 2023, raising concern among other countries in the region. News and analysis at townhall.com. Couple of kids accused in an attack on a former governor.
Police say two boys ages 12 and 13 have been arrested in connection with an assault on former New York Governor David Paterson and his stepson. The 70-year-old Paterson and 20-year-old Anthony Sliwa were attacked Friday evening while on a walk in Manhattan. Both were treated at a hospital for minor injuries. The two boys were both charged with gang assault, and police say at least 5 people were involved in that attack. Jason Walker reporting.
South Korea and the Philippines, each faced by increasingly hostile rival nations, including China and North Korea, have elevated their ties to a strategic partnership, including broader defense and security cooperation between the two U.S. treaty allies. South Korea's president and his Philippine counterpart announcing the upgrade in relations today. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder. and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3
Chris Inviernos
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope your Monday is going swell.
Oh, yeah, swimmingly.
Yeah, Cowboys fans are happy. They got a gritty win over the Steelers, and although they're probably a little bleary-eyed because that one didn't start for about an hour later because of the weather delays in Pittsburgh. But yeah, they got the win. They got a gutty win. The Giants pulled off a win over Seattle this weekend. My Commanders just keep rolling, baby. You know, it's kind of like people are going to start having to run out of excuses on why this team's not legit. Like, they're trying. And, like, each week, and granted, arguments are legit week 1 and 2. I mean, they lost week 1 to the Bucs, although it was a good game. They lost. The Giants game they won, but they didn't score touchdowns. 7 field goals. And then they took the Cardinals to the woodshed, and people said, well. And then they said, wait till you play Cleveland. Their defense is legit. Jaden Daniels can beat that defense. And we took them to the woodshed. And so I'm like, well, what now? Well, this weekend, if they win this weekend, the talking stops.
Oh, yeah.
Because Washington
it has to at this point.
Well, I mean, right now it's shutting down. People are like, okay, the Commanders are a legitimately good team now. They're starting to take notice. I mean, they've been, but now they're kind of running out of. But if the Commanders win this upcoming weekend, then they're going to be talking about them like the Chiefs and everybody else because they play the Baltimore Ravens this weekend in Baltimore. It's Lamar Jackson versus Jaden Daniels. It is a huge. It's going to be the biggest game of the weekend. Matter of factly, they tried to flex this game to Sunday Night Football, but CBS owns it, and they protected the game. They said, no, we're not giving that game to NBC. That's our game.
Nice.
And so the national audience is mad because CBS. But I'm going to guess that it's going to be CBS's national game Sunday. So if you don't get a local market game on a CBS channel, then you're going to see the Commander-Raven game is what I'm going to guess. But,
there you go. You know what it's like? It's like your fan base is kind of like the anti-Cowboys, where the Cowboys, they see one win, they're like, woo, it's our year, baby.
Yeah.
You guys get like 2 or 3 good wins in, you're like, let's hold off. It could still all go nipples north. Let's see where this goes.
Well, and in all fairness, the Washington fan base has gone through so much over this 20 years. They are, like, I know that I don't want to joke about PTSD because there's people with real, but Commanders fans are dealing with football PTSD. They are waiting for the shoe to drop.
Y'all are Harry Potter. You've been condemned to under the stairs for most of your life.
Yeah, and I'm old enough and fortunate enough to see when this team in its glory days. I'm blessed. I consider myself blessed to be alive on this earth when that team was amazing. Especially after what I've just experienced for the last 20 years. So that's why this year is so much different for this fan base. And I know people hear it and stuff, but as a guy that's lived it, you don't get it. This is for this franchise and this fan base that was so beloved. I mean, this was like all you Cowboys fans, Redskins Nation was huge in the 1980s. There was DC is DC, but everybody loved the Redskins. It was just, even politicians are solving things over Redskin games. It was that big of a thing. Now, the oddly weird part was they played in the smallest stadium in the NFL. RFK Stadium only held 55,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Technically holds. It's still in existence. It's a derelict. Nothing,
right.
But it's still in existence. But it was also the loudest stadium. It shook, and in those heydays, when they were packing that thing and winning Super Bowls, the stadium literally shook. Go dig the internet. There's footage of the thing. They're yelling, "We want Dallas," and this thing's just rocking. And that's how it was all the time. And you're starting to see that come back into Washington, and it is. And it's literally waking a sleeping giant.
The vibe is electric
it's a team that's been so wanting to. It's a fan base that's been so wanting a good team for so long,
right?
And they've been tickled a couple times. The RG3 eras, the Joe Gibbs era, second.
I would
number two.
argue that this is so much sweeter than being a fan of like the Patriots or like the Packers. Teams that consistently do it, teams that consistently make it to the
depends
dance.
on when you became a Patriots fan. Like, if you're a Patriots fan in the 80s, your Shangri-La was Tom Brady when he walked in, because the Patriots were god-awful in the 1980s. They did have one Super Bowl appearance and got smoked. But for the most part, the Patriots were kind of a doormat team for a good hunk of the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
So.
But I mean, if you're like, if you're coming up like 90s Patriots fans, like you're used to having that win, so it doesn't feel as good. But when when a team like yours has been through the muck, through all the different changes in management and leadership, to see it finally come to fruition, it's so much more fulfilling.
Sure. But what adds to that layer is, when for those that don't know, the Washington franchise went south the moment Jack Kent Cooke died, and his son I don't know what Jack Kent Cooke was thinking. He didn't bequeath the team to his kid. He basically put it up on an auction and made his kid have to bid, and he lost to Dan Snyder.
Dang it.
Jack Kent Cooke's kid, John Kent Cooke, I think was his name, or something like that. That was Yan Kent Cooke. And you can too. But by the way, if you want to know more about Jack Kent Cooke, if you watch that Lakers thing on HBO, the very beginnings of that, Jack Kent Cooke owned the Lakers. He's the one who sold it. He's the one who sold it to Dr. Jerry Buss. He owned the Lakers, and he had to sell them to buy the Redskins. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
And then he turned that team into, bringing in Gibbs and all that. So I was part of all that. But the moment he left and died and Dan Snyder won the thing, at first it was a nice honeymoon. He was a lifelong Redskins fan. He made his money malls and Six Flags, and everyone was like, and he's talked. He's flying with his helicopters. I'm going to turn this franchise into and he's spending high dollar stuff. But the problem was, he is a tyrant that controls everything, and he doesn't let football people do football things, and he's pretty much a jerk.
Right.
I mean, he got put out of the NFL, not because of the Redskins name, none of that stuff. This is why he got put out of the NFL. There is a huge sexual harassment situation in Washington with the cheerleaders, rapes, and everything else. Snyder ownership swept a lot of this under the rug until it started bubbling. And this goes back to, and when John Gruden got Me Too'd and all of that, this is all in that same world. I don't know how it's all quite connected, but with Jay Gruden, John Gruden, Snyder, all of that is tied. And
Charles Grodin's okay though, right?
Grodin's fine.
Okay, good.
But it's a whole, and I don't think all of it's even come to the surface, because I think a lot of it said, Dan, you better sell. I think the NFL walked in and said, you will sell this team now, or we will get you thrown in jail for all this stuff that's going on, and basically bankrupt you.
It's amazing how powerful an NDA actually is.
Yeah, it's something like that. And I'm pretty sure they said, look, we're going to let you walk away with your dignity. Sell the team, get whatever you can for it, but walk away and be done with it. Or we're going to make your life a living nightmare for the rest of your life.
I like they gave the same option essentially to Dan Snyder as they did to Dan Schneider.
Yeah, right.
It's essentially, look, walk away now, or things are going to come out that you're not going to like.
All I'm saying, John Schneider, be on guard. But anyway, so that's kind of, and so now what's happened is, now they forced the team and actual football professionals, and you know, people when the owner bought the team, and he's the guy that owns was it the 76ers, I think?
Okay.
Maybe the New Jersey Devils. I think he's got a couple other teams there.
Mm-hmm.
But and so people were like, "Whoa, see what he did with those franchises? It's going to sound good, and then he's not going to spend money." All I know is in Washington, and here's the thing. No offense to NBA and NHL fans, you are not an NFL franchise. That's
true.
I don't care. You can have 6 NBA teams. I don't think it runs in the value and the thing that an NFL franchise runs. Even if you are, I don't know.
I would say
the Cleveland Browns.
I would say NBA pushes it a bit,
but not to NFL
quite.
level.
Not to
even
the NFL
close.
level. No.
And NBA tries.
Yeah,
but it's not like NFL. NFL is a juggernaut powerhouse, and NBA doesn't hold a candle to that. Doesn't.
When I was a kid, when I was like, I would say middle school, I was much more of a Chicago Bulls fan than I was at the time. I was a Dallas Cowboys fan. I know. I don't know what was wrong with me as a kid. I needed therapy.
You live in this area.
But I was a fan of the Cowboys, sort of. Now, granted, both of those teams were in their renaissance period. You had the Boys, the Bills, the Bull. You had Jordan's Chicago Bulls.
Everyone was a Bulls fan in the 80s because of Jordan. So,
right. But so these two teams were like my favorite two teams. But I was much more of a Bulls fan than I was a Cowboys fan. That's the one example that I have of the NBA usurping the NFL. But in other cases, you're absolutely right. The NFL is so much more of a juggernaut of an industry.
Sure. And in all fairness, I grew up where I grew up. I grew up in a place where we had a home team in every franchise. You know, we have a hockey team. Well, the exception of baseball, I had a baseball adjacent. But being Maryland, I claimed the Orioles, because there was no Nationals at that time. I grew up there. So I've always grown up in a world, and I'm going to get the interview going quick here, but so my mindset has always been kind of poo-pooed on those people. That I'm the fan of the Bulls, then I'm a fan of the Yankees, and I'm a fan of the Cowboys. And I'm like, come on, guy, you just pick the type.
Pick a city.
But if I didn't grow up in a place where I had a local team, I could see that. I can absolutely see it. But because of me, and I'm going to take a stab. I'm not a huge basketball or baseball fan, and I'm going to take a stab because the Wizards, Bullets, when I started, perennially sucked. And in 1978, when Wes Unseld when they won their championship, I was like 5, so I didn't care.
Right.
They perennially sucked since then. So I think I went to maybe 6 Bullet games my whole life. DC didn't have a team. We had the Orioles, and I watched some Oriole games. I'm lucky enough to see some Cal Ripken in action, and a matter of fact, I did get to go see with my wife. That's the one time she got to an Orioles game. Cal's last season, where he was doing the Cal tour, and he's saying, every place he goes. And so I got to see him playing his last season as a Major League Baseball player. So, but that being said, I don't follow those teams, but Commanders, Capitals, those are my teams, and it's because of where I live. And Washington's the thing. I got bit as a kid when they won Super Bowls, and so yeah. In 20 years, if I've not been enthused about football as much for the last 20 years, you're absolutely correct. This year, I'm kind of like, dude, I'm caring again.
Yeah.
I'm like, Sundays it means something.
Fire's back.
I'm like, man, this is fun. So.
This is what it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah. So
there you go.
All right, we got our interview with Lauren from the Roswell Refuge to get underway here. So let's get you up to date with the weather, and then we'll take a quick commercial break and then play our interview with Lauren Dickinson from the Roswell Refuge on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. Rain-free conditions in our forecast for the entire week. Abundant sunshine coming in for Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia for today. That afternoon high right around 85 degrees. Settling to the mid-50s for tonight with a clear sky, and then we'll move those highs up closer to 90 for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine streaming in. We're in the low 90s for Wednesday. Looks like for Thursday, too. Maybe some mid-90s Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply is your one-stop shop for farm and ranch supplies in southeastern New Mexico, with a friendly, knowledgeable team that can help you find the answer to your problems. With brands you know, including Preferred, Pearson, Purina, High Pro Feeds, Ariat, Wrangler, Cinch, Justin Boots, and more. Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply is a proud supporter of area sports, 4-H, FFA, and the farmers and ranchers of tomorrow. Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply, 1105 East 2nd, celebrating being family-owned and operated for 50 years.
Hi, Chef Anthony Noble here with the Valley Cafe at 801 West Brasher. We love serving you our delicious meals for lunch and dinner. The next time you're in on Monday or Tuesday, bring the family and take advantage of our kids' dinner special. With the purchase of an adult meal, you get a kids' meal for 20% off. That's right. Get the kids fed, save a little money, enjoy what I got cooking in the kitchen. Come visit us at 801 West Brasher in the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell. We have it all. Come taste and see.
Don't forget, you can also find the Valley Cafe on our website at toasttab.com/Valley Cafe. Also on DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. Are you ready to succeed? The health education programs at ENMU Roswell can set you up for success with a wide variety of courses such as emergency medical services, fire science, medical assisting, nursing, and respiratory therapy. ENMU Roswell can prepare you for a rewarding career in the healthcare industry. ENMUR stacks courses in order to get the student into a job as quickly as possible while creating a pathway for more advanced certifications, licenses, and degrees. Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. Success starts here.
The perfect pair of glasses is a lot closer than you think. The Eyesight in Roswell, Carlsbad, and Hobbs is now accepting new patients 5 and up. The Eyesight accepts all VSP vision plans for full contact lens and glasses, as well as Medicare, Davis, and more. Designer frames from Maui Gyms, Oakley, and so much more. The Eyesight in Roswell, Carlsbad, and Hobbs offers complete eye care, including pre- and post-cataract and LASIK, as well as glaucoma testing. The perfect pair is waiting for you at the Eyesight in Roswell, Carlsbad, or Hobbs. Clearly the best in sight.
A Greek-Canadian man invented the Hawaiian pizza. His name was Tex Colorado, and he was from Detroit. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:30, and I'm welcoming. I got to reading, and they were talking about eating cookies in the other room, and I was like, "Oh, we got to go on the radio."
But I'm here. I was eting Oreos.
That's right. Lauren Dickinson joining us. Actually, I think I used your maiden name last hour, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I reverted back to a couple years ago in my head. I rebooted.
Don't do that.
I did a factory reboot in my head. I'm sorry about that. But Lauren's
fine.
joining us with the Roswell Refuge this
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Of course, arguably, this is probably, as far as for the Roswell Refuge, as far as awareness and things, this is a busy month. Because
It is. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Absolutely.
And it's October 2nd.
And it is officially October. It kind of snuck in on us with everything going on. But
Yeah.
it is October, and with the fair and football and the gazillion things that are going on in our
city
community.
water
here.
debacles.
Yeah, the city. I mean, it's just a busy time right now.
It is.
But that being said, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so we want to remind folks the seriousness and the nature of what goes on with this.
Absolutely.
Every year, you guys do your annual candlelight vigil.
Me too. I printed you out a flyer yesterday. I'm late to the game, and I folded it up in my purse, and of course, my purse is in the car.
I know exactly
So
how
I
that
was
goes.
emailing
Welcome
myself.
You were in my life this week, except
Right.
mine's the purse, but everything else.
Yeah, it's like, last week I felt like I had it together. My son's in baseball, so I did, crock pot dinner. So, got home, and yesterday my husband was like, "What are we going to have for dinner?" I was like, man, I really had it together last week.
That's right.
I don't know what happened.
That's when you're like, pizza it is.
Yeah, our daughter loves pizza. We're excited. Remember, my name day is our annual candlelight vigil.
Yes.
We are having it at the Anderson Museum of Contemporary Art.
You've been doing it there last couple years
Yes,
now. And
they
it's
have
been a
been
great
so
place.
gracious.
Yeah, it's a great facility
And it
to
is
house
an
it.
awesome venue. If you've never been there, I love the giant knit ball.
It's
Like, my cats would go crazy.
Yeah, I highly recommend get there early or hang out after.
Yes.
And tour the museum.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yeah, you get to see the museum for free.
Exactly.
I
And
mean,
if you've never been to the Anderson,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful museum, but I would argue of all the museums in town, which we are blessed, we have a bunch of them in
Yes,
town.
we do.
We just had Museum Day, and I hope you visited all of them. But the Anderson Museum is such an eclectic mix of art where
It
you've
really
got
is.
things that what
You
people
wouldn't
would
see.
laugh but
Yes.
it's all of that. Like you can
Yeah.
walk in and see what people would say is art, traditional
Yes,
art, paintings
and
on the wall
and
or whatever.
It doesn't do it justice driving by because
Yeah.
you don't know how big it is.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we were
Yeah, it is
setting up the
deceiving.
venue.
You're right.
And everyone was like, well, let's go do a tour. And I said, actually, I'm not going to go look around because I want to go with my husband. I thought it would be a good, afternoon
Turns
date
out you didn't have
time.
enough time to do. You should have
No.
done both. I've
But
got enough time.
it is so awesome
is.
in there. And it's big. It's
It is.
huge.
And that's the cool part. Is like I said, because you find that traditional art, but then right
Yeah.
next to it is recycled art or something that you would have never
giant
thought.
ball of yarn that someone's made.
Or
and-
exactly. And it's always updating and changing.
Yes.
And of course, I cannot not mention the Anderson Museum was talking about that beautiful piano in there. Now, unfortunately, on the event that night, no one's going to be playing it.
No.
But if you ever get a chance when they have concert nights out there, and they'll get these concert pianists that come in that really covet playing on that piano because that piano is so.
Is it a baby grand?
It's a high end. I don't want to say what it is because I don't know, and I don't know enough to know how good it is. But all I know is everybody that's in piano world and does pianos look at that piano and say, "Yeah, that's a Ferrari."
Yeah, right. My sister-in-law is a piano teacher.
Okay,
and that's her background. She's now in medicine, but oh my gosh,
the
first time I heard her play the piano, I cried. So I could just imagine. Beautiful.
Maybe get an opportunity to play on this one.
That would be awesome.
But anyway, maybe that's the excuse. Get her to come to one of these events. Maybe it's a little late for this year, but say, hey.
Oh, she totally would.
And maybe she can provide music for the night in between testimonies and stories and everything. So, but really, I got sidetracked on pianos here.
Yeah, we're all excited.
The whole point of the night is come to the beautiful Anderson Museum, and it's remember my name. We celebrate the lives of the. We celebrate the victories, the people that broke away and got from the situation.
Yes.
We mourn and remember those that lost their battles.
Absolutely.
And we raise awareness to help the people fighting now, to give them the strength to do what they've got to do to take the next step to make themselves better.
And if you walk in and you just want to hear part of a testimony, I mean, it's very impacting.
I'm about to say, I'm not going to lie. You're going to cry. You're going to laugh. You're going to run through every emotion imaginable. You're going to be mad. You're going to be sad. You're going to be happy. You're going to laugh. Absolutely. It's going to be everything that night. But it is so worth it.
Bringing and drawing awareness to such a, pivotal thing that we need to be talking about.
Absolutely. And that's just it. And this is something that you and I have talked about over the years. And everyone at the refuge that we've talked about is domestic violence is solved by getting it out of the dark corners.
We got to talk about it.
By putting a spotlight on it.
And what it is. What does it look like?
Yep. And I will say this. In the last 20, 30 years, humanity, United States, whatever, has been, I'll say U.S., because there's still other parts of the world where there's some. But anyway, in the U.S., we have made great strides in trying to combat this.
Yes.
Are we where we need to be? Not even close. But we're
gaining momentum.
We are way ahead in the game than we were 20 years ago.
Yes.
Now people aren't afraid when they see something that just raises the cackles on there. Something don't the sniff test ain't working.
Exactly.
People are reporting now,
Yeah.
and that.
If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's
and
probably.
I get there is this line of we live in a country where mind your own business is a thing here.
Yeah.
People
Stay
have
in
the
your
right
lane.
to do your thing,
Yeah.
and I'm for that, but. We all know when something's wrong.
We do.
And you can kind of tell.
It's that eerie feeling, the hair on the back of your neck,
And so what we're not asking you to do is not go in and step in and stop a fight.
No,
we're not asking you to do that. But alert
danger.
authorities. Like if you're in a store, at least alert a manager saying something's going on here, maybe get security on there.
Yeah.
Or call the police and say, I don't know what's going on here, but it don't look right. Can you check it out?
Yeah.
And you know what? If it's innocent, police will sort it out.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just a misunderstanding that you walked in on. No big deal.
Yeah.
But if it's not,
Let
you
the
may have just saved
professionals
someone's
handle
life
it.
that day.
Yes.
And that's what really this event's about. It's celebrating all that, but we want to give people the strength and courage and knowledge to say, when you see something not wrong, don't just walk by it. Save a life or do something that might in essence give someone a life that they are about to lose.
Yeah.
And so that's why this is so important. So the event is, like I said, come prepared to have fun because it is a celebration after all.
Don't bring kids.
Yeah,
it's not really
this is not a kid thing. This is not a family event. This is a grieving.
And I say that being a mom.
Yeah.
Total respect. That
now,
we just
obviously, maybe if you have teenage kids and older kids that maybe want, but certainly young kids that maybe you're not ready to expose this kind of stuff to them yet.
Yeah, and how to
let them be
explain
kids for a couple more years before you start hitting them with some of this stuff.
Yes, my son was asking for a cell phone this morning.
Yeah.
No, you're too little.
Well,
Stop.
and I know because as kids, when we were kids, you couldn't wait to get these kinds of things.
And now I'm like, please take it away.
Yeah, and now,
take them all
exactly.
away.
It's like, and I wish I could make them understand.
Please.
It's like, trust me, you're gonna have plenty of time for this. Enjoy what you got now. You'll be time enough for
this thing's glued to me.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the lifeline.
This thing will be your bane of your existence at some point. Don't get in a rush to get one of these.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
He's like, well, how old do I have to be? I'm like, do we really have to talk
I would
about
say
this?
40, but you do
Yeah.
you.
I said 17.
After 18, I can't tell anymore, but I go 40.
So we're going to have it Thursday, October 17th.
Yes.
From 5:30 to 6:30.
At the Anderson Museum,
Yes.
and it is a free event.
It's free. We'll have
don't have
light
to RSVP. But we would like to come. Yeah, like I said, we will have some finger food, snacks, and things. So.
And we'll have our little electronic candles. You know, in the past, we did it outdoors.
So we could have candles, but we don't want to burn nothing down at the Anderson.
No, we don't.
That would not be a good headline the next day.
But it's going to be a great event. Sadly, we don't get a whole lot of people that participate because it is, it's sad.
Well, let's just face it.
Some emotions.
And I get it. Depending on where you're at, and if you're dealing with things, you're not ready to rehash that yet. You're not ready to address that. You're still buried it and trying
that's
to.
Okay.
And you know what? You do you at your pace and what you feel comfortable with.
Yes.
But if you're ready to share, or if you're ready, or you know what? And I imagine there's some people that they take this experience and they're saying, you know what? I'm going to be the warrior. I'm going to make sure that no one else on this planet experiences what I had to do. Yeah. And this is your opportunity to share your story.
This is what I went through.
To share your strength with people that are going through or adjacent to people going through what you've experienced.
Yes.
And
those testimonies are powerful.
Yeah.
There are. We have some great speakers.
Absolutely. And I would even invite offenders that have reformed.
Yes.
That's another.
I actually invite my offender groups.
And I was about to say that's something we don't always talk about on the refuge side, but we talk about helping victims.
To them too.
Yeah, we talk about helping victims, but they do as much to help the people that are. And because of we say this every single time, domestic violence. There's enough studies. There's enough. It's a cycle. 90% of the time, people that are abusers were probably abused in their younger days. And so I'm not.
Or they saw grandma do it. They saw grandpa do it.
Sure. And I get it. It's easy. It's easy to write off the perpetrator here.
Or
I get it.
The individual's under some type of form of substance abuse or under the influence. And we know that makes a really big difference.
Yeah. And to be honest, and this is where as a Christian in me comes out. It's like, no, God teaches, and I know and everybody's Christian. I'm not trying to, but for me personally, I look at it this way. It's like these people, they did wrong.
Yeah.
But if God can forgive them, then why do we not do it? And to be honest, if they were given a different deck of cards than you were given, and I'm not defending what they did, but if you don't know any better, how are you supposed to know to do the right thing if you don't know?
Yes.
And so you got to
a lot of
give
it
them an
is
opportunity to know.
Unlearning bad behavior, unlearning poor traditions.
Sure.
There's a story that I tell in groups, and it's this girl is making her grandmother's amazing traditional pot roast. And so she's folding the roast and putting it in the pan, and she puts it in her oven, and her husband walks in, and her husband says, "Why do you fold it and put it in the pan like that?" And she goes, "What do you mean? That's the way my mom did it. That's the way her mother taught her." And she goes, I've always wondered. I'm going to call my mom. She calls her mom. She goes, "Mom, why do we fold the roast, put it in the pan, put it in the oven?" She goes, "Well, you're questioning tradition."
It literally is.
She goes, "But I don't know. I'm going to call your grandmother." So she calls her mother and she says, "Mom, why do we fold the very famous traditional roast, put it in the pan, put it in the oven?" She goes, "Well, I don't know about you, but my pan was too small." So again, those unfound,
sure,
it's such a simple answer, but that special tradition had been passed down.
It's all
you don't
about
really
perspective,
know why.
and you know what you know because you experienced it, and that. But you're right to the point here, and I'm not saying you don't justify what they did or anything, but
that's okay that it's special and her pan was too small.
Yeah,
make it like grandma.
Exactly.
But what are those negative?
Yeah, but there's no like there's no guarantee that the meat would come out any better if it's folded or flat. You know what I mean? And so that.
But I'm gonna do it that way because grandma did it.
Sure. So. Well, and to your head. Because you have a sense memory of it, and if you have it another way, it's not mom's. It's just not.
It's
and
not
so
special.
So there's that in that world. It keep going makes sense. But this is why so if you are offenders and stuff and have kind of reformed and seen, share your stories too, please. Give that perspective to people, because to fix this, we got to stop both sides.
Yes,
You've got to
and
break
we have
the cycle.
to start at both ends. I look at it, we're starting at ends of the spectrum, and maybe we can meet in the middle. You know?
Absolutely. It's kind of, because there is a balance, because we live in a world where, yes, you want to, we are taught to, fight for what you believe in.
To survivorhood,
Sure.
but we also want all offenders to be rehabilitated and
There's
no
that
longer offending.
fine balance to stand up for you, but also compromise and that's
and
why
we have
marriage
to remember
is so
too,
hard.
most of it is punitive.
Yeah.
So
that's why marriage is so hard. When we talk about marriage, you're getting two people that aren't clones of each other, and they've got to coexist.
Yes.
And sure, you pick people hopefully that have common ground, but if you're not gonna find that clone. And like you said, it's you were raised different.
Exactly.
One's gonna be mom's always folded the thing. The other one's gonna be no, we just stuff.
And then let's talk about past trauma.
Yeah.
If you're coming into it and you have had, say an ex-wife, an ex-husband, and there's trauma there, and you're bringing that full package to your new marriage.
You're gonna have to unpack that.
Yeah,
because it's gonna rear its ugly head at some point.
And there has to be mercy and grace and all those things.
And that's why that's the cycle
easy.
here. That's why it takes two to tango. It takes if all parties are
It
not
does.
involved in the healing process, it makes it really hard to heal.
Yeah.
It just does. And so that's why we want to, reform these folks. And like you said, and to be honest, when these people realize like that light bulb moment is like, this is not how it's supposed to be, they are quote unquote remorseful. And now we got to deal with another thing, because now we have to worry about them, because now they could fall in depression and, self-worth issues and things like that. And we don't want that either. We want to build them up, but at the same time understand you can't treat society the way you treat society.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
and two, the Roswell Refuge has resources. We have a sexual assault nurse examiner on staff.
and that's
Hanson.
something too
She's
we haven't really
amazing.
talked about today. And I know it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, but the biggest other thing that goes on at
And
the
also
refuge.
restraining orders. We have a court advocate. She works remotely right now. She's wonderful. I think a lot of it too, though, is sometimes there is that break in communication where individuals, and I'm going to touch on this, that come in, and we are the type of society right now that we want what we want, and we want it now. And so
Again,
yes. And I think that we have to remember that, when we go into places, that sometimes it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit for the judges. It takes a little bit for police. The whole process takes a little bit.
To be
but
less
we're there to help.
nice about it, we live in a society where everyone thinks there's the star of their own movie.
Yes.
And
an emergency on your part counts as one on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that it's not, the world ain't your movie. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And so we got to remind ourselves that patience and consideration for others and thinking about other people's perspectives sometimes.
But those resources, we have them. If you're in need of a restraining order, in the confines of domestic violence and you need to get away, there is a big difference too on the law.
Absolutely.
Of what the law reads is,
and it's state for state different.
Violence.
Yeah,
yes.
it's kind of. But yes, the Roswell Refuge. If you're a victim, they can help you through every step of the process. Please reach out. They have a 24/7 hotline.
We do.
And this hotline is for anyone to call.
Yes.
If you yourself are dealing with violence, you're in the driver's seat the entire time. If you want to break out from your situation, that phone call will help you do it. If you just want to bend an ear and vent and talk, that it's there for that. If maybe you're not a victim, but you think something's funky going on and you're not sure how to handle it, call that number and talk to the people.
Yes.
Let them work through that.
627-8361.
It's anonymous and it's 24/7.
Yes.
So
if you need, to see if there's room and shelter for you, call.
That's really step one.
Yes.
And then, and then once you're ready to take that next step, they will welcome you into the Roswell Refuge and bring the kids, bring whatever you can with you.
Yes.
To get in there, but I know sometimes you're usually leaving the house and it's what you got in your hand.
And that's why we depend on the community for resources.
But
such
either
as
way,
hygiene and
refuge will take care of you.
Yes,
that's
we
what
will.
they will provide you a bed, and a place to stay, and a place to decompress, and a place to plot your next move to get your life back on track.
Let's get you some resources too while you're there.
And if you do have to deal with the legal side or and this is where the SANE program comes in. Really, this is so amazing, and I applaud. I mean, everyone at the refuge, but particularly those SANE workers, because they really see the worst in humanity on a pretty regular basis.
Yes.
And it's a tough job to do, and I salute everyone. But these fine folks, what they do is when a victim of sexual assault comes to them, First things first is taking care of medical and health needs.
Yes.
Making sure that person is healthy and whatever medical attention they need to get there, that's what they're going to do.
Yes.
Once
and children too.
And children too, yes, and people involved. Now, once that has been established, if the victim wants to press criminal charges or pursue this matter further, the same folks will help them collect evidence. They will help them start the process. Then the refuge kicks in with the legal, getting in touch with legal people, representatives. But as far as the physical, collection of evidence, getting everything they need for prosecutors to do what they got to do, the same helps in a safe, compassionate, caring way.
Yes.
You're treated. Because it's all done with you in command. If you're not ready to take the evidence, please understand. Sometimes, depending on DNA things, there are time-sensitive stuff, so they might be urgent on certain things if you're kind of on the fence about it. But you are in the driver's seat on this
Yes, you
kind
are.
of thing. So
all of the control that's typically, stripped away from victims, we're trying to give it back to you.
Absolutely. So that's really the umbrella of the refuge. And then, by the way, like you said, the offender side, they have meetings for the folks that have come and realize
and
it.
you can be self-referred. If
you
wake
it's
up one day
self-referred,
and you're like, man, I got some things I need to work on.
Yeah,
Call me. Let's get you into group.
Now, if the judge says you got to go to, trust me, it'll change your life.
Yeah,
you'll trust me. But if you don't have to wait to get to that point. You don't have to get to that point. If you're feeling like,
because then it is punitive, and we have to have checks and balances.
Because I imagine there's some point some folks are thinking, am I really doing this wrong here? Maybe it is me. I mean, maybe there's that light bulb moment where everything you're hitting turns.
That light bulb moment goes off.
Fortunate enough to find that out before you're dealing with handcuffs or worse, then that's a good thing.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's a
But if
good
you're
thing.
like me, a hard learner, and it takes multiple times.
Some of us, you got to beat us up the head a couple times for it to sink in.
If at 11 weeks out of 52 that you're sitting there with us, I see those light bulbs.
Absolutely.
I always say those old JetBlue commercials.
Absolutely.
The
purple,
puff of purple smoke. Yeah. That's it. They're like, oh my gosh, I have been doing this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is abuse.
Yeah, and it's sometimes it's just
withholding our family's last $50 so I could go buy smokes and beer when we need diapers. Oh.
And you'd be amazed at what things happen or occur or said that just triggers that
and it's like
realization.
It unlocks these memories too. They're like, oh my gosh, I did this, and it's like it just starts flowing out.
Sure.
Well, let's fix it.
And then once that happens, then you hold the arms out. All right, let's bring it in. Let's fix it.
Yes,
yep,
let's fix
that's
it.
what you do.
Yeah.
But that's how you fix this.
And it's
problem.
always a we mentality.
Yeah.
I always have a we mentality.
Absolutely, it's got to be that. So
it's a team thing.
That's why the refuge is so important. That's why we'd love to have you come out on October 17th to the Candlelight Vigil and support that. If you want to do more, here's a great way you can do that. Yeah. The Roswell Refuge, like I said, they provide the needs for all of the victims and folks that come in.
Men, women, and their children.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's quite expensive buying towels and bedding and hygiene supplies and food and things like that.
If you're at the store, pick up an extra family size,
That, and to be honest, your loaves of bread and your big family bottles of soap, that is it is actually fixing one issue at a time.
And we have some beautiful community members that will drop off things.
Because part of the road to recovery for these victims is the mental health side of it. Because they've built defensives, they've built there's probably some social quirks and anxieties and things missing with these folks because they've had to basically do things to protect themselves.
Yes, and now you have to rebuild.
And so
from the rebel.
Trust is a very hard thing to get back with some of these folks.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, when random strangers come in with bottles of shampoo and beauty supplies and toiletries and food, they like, why are they doing this?
Yeah,
just because
the human factor,
and they're like, wait a minute, people are good? And it really does chink away at the armor that they've put up to protect themselves, to allow them to be and feel human again.
And to see their faces and they're like, oh my gosh, other people care.
Absolutely. You don't realize such a simple task as go buying a couple pies and dropping them off at the refuge makes a difference to these folks in their lives. Yes. So if you have the means and the ability to do that, it's very simple.
If you want to redo a room, if you want to...
if you want to go bigger.
Donate some furniture.
If we got a bunch of people that spend their weekends watching HGTV and they've done so much in their house that their family's like, please stop.
Yes, if you'd like
come to the refuge
build patio furniture for us. Or Absolutely.
There's and now that we're out of the COVID world again, we can start doing these things.
We can be friends.
Yeah, we can do. Now, please remember, the Roswell Refuge is we're protecting people here.
Yes.
So anonymous, there's when you get to the refuge, there are certain things that
we
just
can't
for
talk about.
for the protection of the. So that's why not everybody just gets in there. They just don't let people in there because unfortunately. And I know this is hard to wrap your head around for some people, but some of these people break away from violent situations, people that have vendettas.
Yes.
And some of these abusers are angry that they broke away
they are.
and they've exposed them for what they are.
Yes.
And some of these folks are
and they need to be protected.
And they're so wrapped up in their mental health issues that they will literally do anything to achieve that goal. And
to get to the victim.
And it's to do this kind of stuff.
Yes.
So for their protection, they have to go a little over the top on
We
on,
do. We
on,
have
on
to
that
keep
kind
that
of stuff.
confidentiality.
So please understand when they tell you no sometimes.
Yeah, it's not a personal thing. It's a federal thing.
Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
these people living in this home are priority one. And that's what everything we're doing here is about. So anything that goes against their health and safety, we're not going to participate in.
Even if the police come and say, and that's why I say it's a federal thing, is they are protected, that confidentiality,
It's like your lawyer or your doctor. Same kind of thing.
Those victims, we have to keep that confidence.
Absolutely. But that being said, don't let that deter you from helping out.
No.
If you want to show your heart and show ways to help these people, please do that. Please reach out, call.
Yes.
I don't hesitate to call the office and say, hey, I heard you on the radio. I hear you. What's like the go-to supplies? What are you short-staffed on?
And
or
it's
short
almost
supplied on?
Halloween.
Yeah.
I know people have been dropping off some goodies, for the
Absolutely.
kids. And
Yeah, don't forget there's lots of kids. There's lots of, and so even like presents, we're getting to the holiday season, toys, things like that.
Yes.
Now's a good time to start doing that because they want to make sure every child and family that is in that home during the holidays has a Christmas or has a Thanksgiving
and I think a toy drive is something we should do this Christmas. I think
So
that'd be wonderful.
Put that on the brain
'Cause we
too
have
while you're
had
out shopping.
a lot of children in shelter.
And when you get and you get all kids all ages from newborns to
18,
17 almost
yes.
18-year-old kids here. So think of what all ages like. And so but please and don't hesitate to call the refuge the office to ask about that kind of stuff. They'd
Please
be
do.
happy. There's two different there's the home and that's where all the good work happens. And then there's the office, and that's where you go to get your restraining orders, or if you have business with
or do your
the
groups,
refuge.
do your intake.
Yeah,
with
the
me.
meetings and stuff are all there too.
And that's 624-3222.
The phone number.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the phone number. No. I should have said that. We're on radio. And it's 1215 North Garden is our admin address. So.
Absolutely. So please, please reach out. Please come out. And then, of course, October 17th is our Say My Name Candlelight Vigil event. Remember My Name. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm a little more aggressive.
Think
Say
into
My
this.
Name.
Yes,
but,
Say My Name.
But it is happening at the Anderson Museum. What time is everything starting on the 17th there?
5:30.
5:30 p.m. And they
we
go.
say 5:30 to 7, but it kind of wraps up in an hour.
Yeah, it's kind of
it depends who wants to stay
to be honest,
and talk.
it's where everyone's emotional levels are at.
Yes.
If you're like, I've taken in enough
Lots of
tonight, let's
tissues.
go look at some
Yes.
art.
Yeah,
You
let's
know what
go
I mean?
eat dinner.
It's as long as it needs to be.
Yes.
That's a good thing to say.
I love that.
It's as long as it needs to be.
Yes. That's true. Yeah, because sometimes it does run over.
Yeah, absolutely. And in other years,
Yeah.
but either way, come early, stay late, and enjoy the museum while you're at it too. So good deal.
Please do.
And give out the crisis number one more time if you don't mind, Lauren.
It's 575-627-8361.
Call that 24/7.
365.
There's help on the other side of that line, whether you want
If
information.
you need to get into shelter, seek
Whatever
out
it
that
is,
number
you
so they
you
can tell you if
do.
they have room.
Absolutely. If you make a phone call, then we'll get the ball rolling.
And if you're in another city too, I mean, and I joke, we get plenty of phone calls for Roswell, Georgia. So sometimes we have to weed those out. But, if you're in another city and need resources,
Absolutely.
or maybe you're
you partner up. Like,
trying to get away from another city to Roswell.
yeah, like
See if we
was it
have room.
last month or whatever? We had Grammy's house partner with you guys, and we were on together, and every
love Grammys.
those Grammys and the Refuge are the same thing. Just one's in Eddy County, one's in Chaves County. That's pretty much the difference.
For sure.
They do great work, and of course, me doing the Artesia show for years.
Yeah.
I talked with her for many years,
Yes.
Selena
Yeah.
over there, and
Selena's wonderful.
Yeah, she's good people too. So absolutely. Did we get it all?
I think so.
Excellent. Well, thank you as always.
You're welcome.
We'll see you
I
next
tried
time.
the Oreos.
What do you think?
They're weird.
You did say lemon. I heard you say they do.
Yes,
they do
they
have
did.
a lemon taste to them.
Yeah.
I guess that's just something they put in sodas.
And the Coke is, a Coke tastes more like the Oreo.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Nice to try new things.
It's an Oreo, and you can eat the whole box because it's Oreo. But for terms of Oreos, not their best one.
No, for sure.
But thank you, Lauren.
You bet, sir. Thank you so much.
I was going to take those back, but no, we don't want to do that today. All right, it is 8:09. Once again, I'm late to the game, and I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. So let's do this. Quick commercial break before we get to news. Don't go away.
Eddy County Commissioners have unanimously approved spending $20,000 in grant money to help establish a 12-week self-esteem program at Carlsbad's Cottonwood Elementary School. The program will be geared toward 5th grade girls. It's being established by the Lee County youth development group called My Power, which is based in Hobbs. My Power Executive Director Danielle Hernandez told commissioners last week that the programming targets 5th grade girls before they get into middle school, where their most peer pressure begins to set in. The Supreme Court agreed Friday to step into a fight over plans to store nuclear waste at sites in rural West Texas and New Mexico. The justices said they will review a ruling by the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals that found that the Nuclear Regulatory Commission exceeded its authority under federal law in granting a license to a private company to store spent nuclear fuel at a dump in West Texas for the next 4 decades. The outcome of the case will affect plans for a similar facility near Carlsbad. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
I know your government tells you that they're going to take care of certain things for you. And I'm watching all of this unfold. I am stunned that they're telling you that everything's fine. Now, we talked to Governor DeSantis on this program and Governor Brian Kemp on this program. To their credit, they pre-positioned utility trucks and emergency supplies. Everyone knew a Cat 3, likely Cat 4 hurricane was coming. Joe and Kamala didn't do a thing because now we know they had given the money. They squandered it. They took it out of the FEMA fund to give to their unvetted illegal immigrants.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Hey everyone, Biden may have dropped out of the race, but he's not done just yet. Will he jam through his hidden tax trap at the last second, right before he goes? Where he could raid your retirement funds, supercharge your income taxes, increase utility and gas prices, and inflate costs on things you need to live? Some or all of this could affect you or your family in one way or another. So if you want to wait and see, you may as well kiss your retirement savings goodbye. The good news is you can get prepared, but you better hurry. Reach out to Goldco today to learn how precious metals could help you protect yourself and your family. They're offering you a free 2024 gold and silver kit, plus up to a 10% instant match and bonus silver on qualified accounts. All you have to do is visit HannityGold.com. HannityGold.com. Your retirement funds, income taxes, gas prices could all be affected. Visit HannityGold.com. That's HannityGold.com.
Paid for by Goldco.
Happy Victory Monday with your Cowboys Report. I'm Christy Scales. It was worth the wait. After an hour-and-a-half delay for Lightning, the Cowboys overnight in Pittsburgh come away with a fourth quarter rally and a 20-17 win over the Steelers. Details after this.
A true Dallas Cowboys fan is there for the journey and the destination. This is the season to make your journey count by flying through McAllen International Airport, the South Texas airport of the Dallas Cowboys. Whether you're flying down for McAllen's award-winning fall and holiday festivals, or you're a South Texas fan flying up to cheer the Cowboys on, make your journey as satisfying as your destination at the South Texas airport of the Dallas Cowboys. McAllen International Airport, above, beyond, at McAllenAirport.com.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
The Cowboys overcame a 90-minute lightning delay just before kickoff, overcame 3 turnovers and 11 penalties to rally for a 20-17 road win over the Steelers. Dak Prescott threw fourth-quarter touchdown passes to Rico Dowdle and Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert's 4-yard game winner, with just 20 seconds to play, came just a moment after he had suffered an injury the previous play.
No matter what, I was going on the field, and like I said, I knew the play call, I knew the options that were available on the play call, I knew the coverage they would run, big-time players doing big-time moments. When the ball comes your way, your team's counting on you, you make plays.
Thanks to the hard-fought win, the Cowboys are now 3-2. Sunday, they'll host the Lions at AT&T Stadium. With your Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. Rain-free conditions in our forecast for the entire week. Abundant sunshine coming in for Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia for today. That afternoon high right around 85 degrees. Settling to the mid-50s for tonight with a clear sky, and then we'll move those highs up closer to 90 for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine streaming in. We're in the low 90s for Wednesday. Looks like for Thursday, too. Maybe some mid-90s Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. A lower open this morning for Wall Street. Worries over tensions in the Mideast have pushed oil prices sharply higher as the world waits to see how Israel will respond to an October 1st missile attack by Iran. Nintendo gained 4.4% following reports that a Saudi wealth fund plans to increase its investment in the Japan-based video game maker. Elon Musk praising Donald Trump as the only candidate to preserve democracy in America. The SpaceX and Tesla CEO stood alongside the Republican nominee at a weekend rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where Mr. Trump survived an assassination attempt in July. The Labor Department releases its consumer price report for September on Thursday. Economists predict inflation continued easing last month. The Fed started raising interest rates in 2022 to combat inflation. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
So your pecans aren't as big and bountiful as they used to be? Well, what would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben from Roswell Seed Company. Few people knew as much about pecans as Jim Gill. And if he were here today, he'd tell you it was time to fertilize. He'd tell you just what you need and show you how to use it. Then he'd make some joke about your neighbors making fun of your nuts.
So when there's trouble with your pecans, head for Roswell Seed Company and ask them, what would Jim Gill do?
Join Hot New Country 92.9 The Brand and Fiero 106.1 FM for a special live broadcast this Saturday from 10 to 1 at Roswell Ford. If you think you're stuck in your loan or lease, come see just how easy it is to get out from under your current payment. Top dollar for your trade and special incentives means you can drive in today and drive away in a newer vehicle for less than you're paying now. We'll be on hand with some tasty treats and even a few surprises. We'll see you this Saturday, 10 to 1 at Roswell Ford, corner at 9th and Main in Roswell.
It's possible to turn peanut butter into diamonds. Peter Pan tried it with his buddy Skippy, but they couldn't do it in a jiff. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 10 o'clock here. Got about a minute and a half here before we wrap up today's show. If you missed any part of today's show, I invite you to check it out at your leisure. You can log on to ksvptv.com. You'll see all of our different channels of various video programming there. You'll want to click on the one that says Mornings with Mike Winters, and then you'll see all of our shows there. And then after the show, you can go and whatever interviews there, you can hit the drop box, and it'll separate them out, and you go check them out there too. Don't forget, if you're also looking for Roswell Coyote sports action, Goddard Rocket sports action, Artesia Bulldog sports action, any of the livestock shows from the fair last week, all of that is at ksvptv.com and the various channels right there. Just scroll and you'll have, depending on how long, you could have days of videos and stuff to watch there, depending how far back you go. But they're all there, and you go check them out. Big thank you to everyone that made last week excellent. We had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts, so a lot of people probably taking maybe a little breath today before on to the next thing. But Have a great day. Have an amazing week. We will talk to you bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
No static at all. Your new home for talk radio is KEND Roswell.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com.